me try again. Cool. Yeah, we're all good. I have us muted, but I've got a little background noise or music going for the stream to there. Hey, what's up, man? I'm pretty good. Anyway, what were you asking, Nolar, about revenue? Give or take, yeah, usually they do. But I try not to watch it every single day. Give or take, yeah. That I don't know, because I've never actually, it never does that for me, so. All right, is everyone else in here? All right, True said it's 5 minutes. Well, they're on they're not on the Dokkan part though, so. Girlfriend called him at last minute to, I guess, steal him away in his words. So. Yeah, once we get Truth in here. Yeah, we can easily do that. So okay. All right, I guess I'll start us now, and then I'll just unmute the chat, and then you and I can at least start talking a little bit, and then hopefully Truth gets his butt in here soon. So okay. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, what's going on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What's going on, guys?
Testing.
Nolar, hello. Say your beautiful voice. Make sure people can hear you.
Stuffing my face with my really good, not to brag, but really good homemade fried chicken. It's actually really good. But yeah, what's going on, guys? And no, I'm not grinding World Tournament because I'm over it.
Yep. If World Tournament, I'm just saying it right now. I'm just saying, chain battle over World Tournament. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Anything over World Tournament.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Quickly let us know, guys, if we're too loud, too soft, all that stuff. On my side, you might hear a little bit of an echo just because of the room I'm obviously in, but overall, hopefully you guys should be able to hear us. So, alrighty. So today, we have a little bit of a different in terms of the lineup and in terms of who's here, I should say. Obviously the format's still the same. We talk Dokkan, we take Dokkan questions, then we talk Legends, and then we take Legends questions. Goresh is currently not here today. I don't know exactly where he is. He had prior arrangements that he had to meet, so he will not be here today. Truth is here, but he's 5 minutes late. I guess World Tournament is keeping him from jumping on, Discord. So then we got Nolar here. We got me, Nasdorachi, and Raiyuden, and Brad will all be in here when Legends hits. So that is why. But yeah, so until then, I love using my Go XLR just for that.
You invite Satan to the podcast.
Yeah,
I mean, if that's what you need to do to get those SSRs, then by all means.
Did you tweet out the live stream, by the way?
No, I need to do that. I need to do that real quick while we start it up. But we can go and start talking, obviously. So obviously, we'll start with actually let's start with JP real quick because there's really nothing on JP. I think it'll be very, very fast, and then we can go into global because I'm sure a lot of people are hyped for what's going on with global right now. And but anyway, so JP, all we really have going on is the World Tournament, which is obviously kind of whatever, to be honest. Oh, and we have.
Hey, go get your adventures done.
Yeah, really. See, go get your adventures done, man. Come on.
Yeah, there are Zenkai ones right now. That's it. But yeah, let me go do that.
Yeah. So I mean, just World Tournament, which Mecha Frieza is pretty decent. It's just super weird that Mecha Frieza is on the revenge category, while the LR King Cold and Mecha Frieza isn't.
Yeah.
Because King Cold obviously wasn't there for revenge. So again, this is another blunder by Akatsuki to figure out like their categories. At this point, they're just failing constantly.
Right. Exactly.
So
that was just kind of weird. The AGL Vegito did get a Dokkan Awakening, which is pretty cool.
Well, but by the way, have you played with him, right? I think you did I did. What's it called? A showcase?
Yeah, I did a little bit of a test on stream and then on my own, obviously. And he's good. He's good. I still say I think I'd put him as the second best World Tournament card right now in terms of like the World Tournament exclusive SSRs you can get from it.
Right.
Because he can't tank a lot, even because unfortunately he still has that whole first slot mechanic.
Yeah.
And you only get that after you've attacked, basically, or technically during your attack. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's extremely strong in kind of your longer events. I know he is fine in the Legendary Goku event, which I'm gonna be frank, that event's a joke now. It really is. So, but yeah, he's good. He's good. So I put him in second place, but I still say High School Gohan is the best one, clearly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't awakened him yet, even though I have all this stuff. But just looking at his kit, the only reason you put him in the first slot is if you want to make him a tank by dodging, right? What's a great chance? Great chance of 70%? Is that what it is?
It's a super high chance if you directly translate it, and it's about 70% chance to dodge. But the problem is that you can't use that if someone's attacking you before you've gotten your attack off, and it can only be done in the first slot. So
I see what you mean by you can't tank. So if before he gets his attacks, okay, yeah.
All he has basically in the first slot before he's attacked, if you're getting attacked, is 120% attack and defense.
Attack and defense.
And the support to the allies, which is fine. The support is great. That's 30% attack and defense. But I think most people will probably run him off rotation as a support unit.
Support. Yeah, I mean that's what I would do.
Yeah.
He's just a hard-hitting support. That's what I see it as.
But I would personally still like give him dodge probably if I was in my personal opinion.
Right.
Yeah. I just don't see it. Yeah. It is. I'm hopeful for when like Tech Cell and the Super Saiyan 2 Great Saiyaman get their awakenings, but man, it's gonna be hard to beat that High School Gohan. That High School Gohan is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really, really good. Yeah, so for me, like he's like I think we kind of talked about this before, where the World Tournament cards need to be mostly support units because like they're free to play, like as in you don't have to summon with Dragon Stones, so they're technically free to play, and in that sense they'll never have the stats like a Dokkan Fest TUR or an LR or DFELR. So making them hard hitters, unless they're having like 500, 700% attack, they're never going to reach the levels of those cards. So you're kind of relegating to putting them off rotation for the most part if you're trying to optimize your team, right? So for the most part, I feel like World Tournament just should be the supplemental support units with some cool, like interesting or / different mechanics to it. I think that's the best way to go about it, but like they definitely gave this Vegito, because it seems like all Vegitos are in part support units, right? They give like 25, 35% attack and defense, or attack to like their allies when they super and stuff like that.
Right.
But on top of that, he's got that extra on his passive 30 super class allies, 30% attack and defense. So it just makes no sense to me to try to make him into attacker by giving him essentially 240 attack and defense, 2 key, a chance to evade if he's in the first slot. Like it's not really that necessary, but
right,
whatever. Let them do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's not to take anything away from him. You know, he's still a very good card. He's definitely better than what he used to be. I mean, that's to be
clearly,
honest.
Yeah.
Just I think I would like him a lot more if it didn't have that first slot mechanic. Like if they had given, like say for example, if they had given him 120% attack and defense, and then maybe every single time you get hits, you get an additional little bit of defense up to 150 in total, and then you still support by 30% to attack and defense to super allies, and then you have just a 50% chance to dodge, the super chance / high chance to dodge or something like that. I think I would have liked that a lot more.
Yep.
And I wouldn't have to worry about putting him in the third slot or in the first slot. So
yeah, I mean the thing is like when I think like Yardrat Goku is a good way of utilizing that slot mechanics, right? Because
yes,
in slot 1 he is
dodger,
a dodger, and slot 2 and 3 he's a counter, right? So
right.
I like the concept of the slots if you just give me options of how I want to play him, right? So if you said in slot 3, or slot 2 and 3, he gives 20 and 30% to super attack and defense to super allies, while in slot 1 he's purely a dodger and like defensive kind of player card, then yeah, that's like that would be cool to implement the whole like slot 1, slot 2 and 3 kind of mechanic there restrictions. But yeah, as it is, eh, it's fine. It's just not. I think they've kind of stepped away from that. Like I said before, you had Go Tanks, like base form Go Tanks. He had that kind of stuff. But now, Yard Rat Goku, conditional mechanics like the orbs for the LR trio, Broly trio, like that's more interesting and dynamic than just like, okay, you only got one option. If you want him in slot 1, this is what he does. Other than that, he just does. That's it. So I wished with the Awakening he would have gotten extra stuff like on slot 2 and 3, like other options of how to play him.
Right.
But I think they kind of took the shortcut and was like, oh, let's just slap some stat boosts and whatnot, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. So
yeah.
All right. So we got World Tournament taken care of because again, like we said, guys, JP is very short. The only thing left.
Oh, well, we still have Kefla, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I was about to actually bring that up. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So real quickly, I was just gonna mention that this upcoming week, I should say, we should be seeing the Kefla information shown on Twitter, and then a data download, and then probably Thursday, the 29th? 28th.
Thursday, the
28th. 28th
like
Japan
4 or 5
time.
days, yeah.
We should be seeing Kefla maybe that Friday. It's hard to say. It's always Thursday, Friday times, whenever. But that is when we should be seeing her. She will have, and as of right now, they have not come out. It's been over a week since the V-Jump came out, and it does not look like she will have an active skill. She will have a double passive transformation type skill, meaning you cannot control, you cannot really control it, and AKA you can't activate it. So it's most likely going to be turn restrictive / HP / whoever's on your team, however they're going to make it. We'll have to wait and see how well she's going to be. What do you want from Kefla? Do you want her to be a support unit through and through, and then also have high attack, just be high attack? What do you think? Just real quickly, what do you think will be on her kit? Yeah.
Okay, so to address this, V-Jump said it was double passive transformations, right?
Yes. And they have not come out and they have not corrected it or anything, unlike the time they did with the Gogeta Blue and Broly way back during that New Year's celebration. So it seems to be the case.
Yeah, so like either, like a 20% chance they're just incorrect, or she really is 80% chance, because there was no correction, like you said, that she is a double passive transformation. I hate those. I absolutely hate passive transformations. Like, I understand like the Trunks and Zamasu, where it's like, okay, the next turn you get a passive transformation boost. Sure, okay, whatever. But then the next part is the active skill. What makes it interesting is the active skill is like a conditional thing that I won't say completely, but significantly changes the way you play the card, right? So for Trunks, he becomes a nuker and hits really damn hard. While Zamasu, there's a couple drawbacks where you're not as tanky, that kind of stuff. Like it makes you really think about the gameplay. Those are cool. That's what I really like. But clearly, if it's both passives, I'm not a fan. Now, with regard to her kit, if they're gonna go the double passive route, all it just means is it's just power creep, right? So passively, she'll do, let's say 100% damage, and then like 100% attack and defense. The next one will be like 120, and then after that, it's like 150, right? She is a monster damage dealer. I think that's where they're gonna drive her towards. And if you're not having to choose between a support then into the neck, or from like active skill from one to the other, then I just feel they're just linearly going one style. So it's like I said, damage dealer, more damage, and the most damage kind of thing.
Right.
Now, again, if it was a mistake and there is just one passive and then an active, then that would be interesting, because I think the active would then be like kind of like Trunks. So like when you use the active to like try to finish off someone, while in the middle state as Super Saiyan, she could just be a stacker or or something along those lines. But yeah, if it's just passives, I don't think they're going to significantly change her style, because then you have no control.
Right.
And I mean, they could do that, but that means I'm just not going to like the card as much.
Right. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. when I saw that kanji and I just saw passive, I was like, okay, so basically it's just like when Trunks transforms first, but it honestly reminded me a lot more of Into Future Gohan and Android 13, where you have no choice, no matter what, where you're going to transform. Now, I could clearly see her first transformation just simply being the following turn. She's base Kefla. She's on the screen. She goes away. She comes back the following turn. Boom, she transforms. That's totally fine. We had that with Trunks, Gotenks, Boo, Zamos. That's totally fine. I have absolutely no problem with those. And then depending on what her conditions are, it's either gonna be right away. You say the following turn if your HP is at some percent or something, or it's going to be some crazy long one that's going to be like an additional 5 turns like Tech Boo and Gotenks, right? Which you're never really going to see on unless it's on one particular event. And I think most people don't really like that. I think a lot of people prefer to be able to see most of these active skills / transformations / passive skills, whatever you want to call them, in multiple modes. Like obviously the easy Dokkan Fest events, that's whatever. You're barely going to see anything there anyway. But in terms of Legendary Goku event, Infinite Dragon Ball History events, Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, all that stuff, right? We want to see that stuff. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. Or maybe they'll make it, they'll redeem it a little bit where in order for her to go from Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 2, it can be one of two things. She'll transform again if you have, say, a Peppy Gals category card on you with you only after the following turn. So in total, that's only 5 turns, which should be fine. If you don't, though, say you throw onto like Patara team or the survival universe category, then she'll do it, a few more turns after that. Maybe something like that could be possible. I'm not really sure. We'll have to wait and see exactly what she's gonna do. And we should know, and again, like I said, it's Sunday here, Japan time right now. And usually that stuff comes out either Monday night or Tuesday night. It depends sometimes. But we could potentially see it in not 24 hours, but I'd say about 29 to 30 hours or so from now. So
potentially. Yeah, I think normally the Dokkan Fest are Thursday Japan time. Someone had a countdown. Someone had a countdown when the Kai banner goes away. That's usually the start of a new celebration or banner, like Dokkan Fest banner. It's in 5 days, something like that. So that would mean a couple days before the banner comes out, it's a Twitter reveal. The next day is a data download, and then the day after that is when the banner is released. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I just don't like passive transformations. Like if it's just like the transforming AGL Goku or the Tech Frieza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I absolutely don't like that. And I think the best thing they did to correct that kind of mistake was they changed it into active skills. So that completely was great because it allowed you to choose what to do and then change the way the whole card works. Other than, I just hate the whole middle step of passive transformations of I'm going to, it's going to take 7 turns to get to the last stage, and then they're going to have this massive effect, but in between is just kind of a build up to something, and it's just not fun. You know what I mean? Right. Nobody wants to run AGL Super Saiyan Gohan. They want to see him in Super Saiyan 2. You know what I mean? They want to see that. I don't know. So that's the passive in her kit. I could see her. The thing is, she has a lot of categories she fits in, right?
Yeah,
U6,
she's got quite
USS,
a few categories with her.
Patara, I could.
She'll be on transformation boost as well.
She should be, yeah. As Truth finally joins us, folks, the infamous Truth has finally arrived.
Yeah, we got a link to the stream. Because there's not one in the chat.
Oh, yeah, here. I tweeted it out already, but yeah, I'll get it to you in a second.
Okay.
Hang on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the interesting thing is there's so many categories she could lead, and they're pretty hesitant on making new categories with TOP units, right? So Hit was U6 and USS, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken was U7 and USS, right? So I don't think they're gonna come out with a new category for her to lead per se.
Even
I mean, I could be
even
wrong.
Jiren did not introduce a
Yeah.
new category either.
So
Only the original UI Goku is the only one. I guess
yeah.
Vegeta too.
Yeah, but they weren't. They themselves weren't like USS plus something else, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I think she's probably like the possibilities of her leads are USS, U6, Pepe Gals, Patara. I think we've got enough Patara, so we don't really need her. But I could see a mixture of the two, or potentially all three. You know, I don't know if they would do that, but it's something to think about.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It's just it's hard to say what she could do because of her having double passive transformation requirements, right? Like if she was passive then active, and then she, so say for example, she's your typical support unit and then goes all out attacker. You can choose when that's going to happen. Then fine, that'd be awesome. But the moment you try to introduce two different completely play styles where, for example, like the Into Future Gohan, where he's support unit and then he goes into just all-out attacker / mitigator, right? He changes so much, and there's a lot of times where it would be actually more beneficial to have him as a support unit, but you don't. You can't. Unless you absolutely don't bring Trunks, let's just be honest with Gohan's categories, having Trunks actually helps you, and there's really good Trunkses to be on those categories.
Yeah,
he's always gonna be transforming most of the time at least. So
yeah, but within Future Gohan, the issue is like, in a way, you can choose whether or not he transforms by, like you said, completely omitting Trunks from the team's setup. So that is, in a way, you could argue them giving you the option to pick which one or the other. But if it was just like 80% HP, above 80% HP, you're going to transform, then that's not really an active skill, or like you don't have any agency in picking how you want to run your or how to play the cards, right?
Right.
So that's why I just absolutely am not, like, when they first introduced transformation mechanics with the LR Gogeta and Vegito, and then those from then on, where it's like, okay, I guess not the greatest, but like these are okay. And then they realized that people don't want to like have a 25% chance to see Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. You know what I mean? They want to see him, and so to rectify that, active skills were implemented. And which was fun because that meant that they could really play around with the playstyles. Like Cooler is the epitome of how you want to run a transformation card. He's one playstyle before, and you can choose to transform him into the hard-hitting unit, or you can keep him as a support unit.
Yep.
It's all up to you.
Yep, exactly.
So that's why, like, I'm not a fan of these passive transformations, and maybe she's gonna be really good, but if the only way to make it that way is the passive transformations have to be in the same card style, right? It's just going to be linearly. If she's going to be a hard hitter, she's got to be a hard hitter straight through. Otherwise, if she was a support and then a defense stacker and then an attack stacker, that kind of sucks, because then sometimes I just want her to stay as a support, sometimes I want her to stay here as a tank, and then sometimes I want to make her the hard hitter.
Right.
So
exactly.
It's interesting. Someone in the chat says, what if base Kefla instantly transforms? Now, the only reason I could see them doing that would be if there was like a Super Saiyan Kefla.
A Super Saiyan Kefla. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I was wondering, so usually they either do one of two things now. They'll release one new banner unit alongside it, or they'll do like a bunch of old awakenings. Now, unless they awaken the STR Kale and then the
Kefla.
Tech Kefla.
Kale, Kefla, yeah.
Yeah, so like, what new unit would they release alongside Kefla? It's probably going to be Universe 6, because we know it's a Universe 6 celebration, right?
Right.
So like, what if they did like base Kefla as the Dokkan Fest, but then there's a banner Super Saiyan Kefla? I think that could be interesting. Because like, what are the Universe 6 unit are they going to do? Like Super Saiyan 2 Kabe, I guess they could do.
They could finally. I don't. Kaba doesn't. Aside from the STR support unit, which I kind of don't count because it's on very limited banners, there is no summonable SSR Kaba, is there?
Yeah, yep, that's correct. 'Cause
So
it's,
yeah, we
free
could
to play.
get something like that if we want to. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I
'Cause
mean,
I don't
and no
think
matter
there
what
is-
form you put him in, he has a farmable super attack, right?
Yeah.
If you make him a base one, there's a base one you can farm up. There's a SSJ, and heck, there's even an SSJ2 that you can farm up. So
Oh, base is an interesting idea because they don't do it very often where like just banner units transform, but that would be interesting. Like a base cabe that transforms.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
they could easily do that. Yeah. So
And they could really make it like Legends where he could be like an insane like support type unit or something for Vegeta. That could be interesting.
yeah, no, they definitely could. So now the big question is typing. Put your votes down right now. What do you think typing is going to be?
Oh, I would
The big question.
well, honestly, I'd probably hope that she's physical, even though I know Kefla is already physical. Physical is by far the weakest of these typings. Like physical needs help a lot. So I'd want her to be physical.
Uh,
I think she'll be AGL.
I think she'll be int.
I think she'll be AGL. Well, we just got Go Tanks though.
I would like int as well. Int and physical are just way worse than the other three, I think.
Yeah, we don't need strength.
No, we don't need
AGL
strength.
does
Strength is
not
fine.
need it.
Oh, no, hell no. Strength with UI Goku, strength is like I think easily the best now.
Oh yeah.
Because like you could do Whis on one rotation, and the other like a rotation could be UI Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Like Super Saiyan is the best, man.
Tech? I don't think Tech. It's like Tech doesn't need more help just yet. They're okay as they are. And it's AGL and strength are just far and away top tier. I think physical and int needs the most help.
I guess it depends on what they're trying to quote unquote buff next, right? Like, are you like in terms of a type team? You know, I would say I think I would agree with you guys. You know, like physical obviously needs a lot more help than AGL and strength and everything. But if they are trying to look at it from the Super Battle Road in the harder stages, then AGL needs help on Extreme Super Battle Road. Physical still needs help, and I would argue that Tech needs a much better leader in terms of those particular harder events. So
I thought they just did a pretty good job with that Vegito, by the way. Like, obviously, he's not like a super omega, like god level, but he's like, I think, going to be very solid for Extreme Super Battle Road. I mean, compared to everything else,
go test them out, dude. Go test them out.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you have him rainbowed?
I got him 90% of the ability system, so he's only missing his bottom. Yeah.
Basically, then, yeah.
He was good. He was good as a support unit, and I like that, but I thought he'd be a little bit better in that first slot. Like if you could get lucky with on a rotation where he's not getting attacked, he gets his attack off, so he gets that 240% attack and defense, which is really good, and a high chance to dodge. Yeah, it was yeah. I mean, he's not bad, just
because like when I was using him, I was getting him around 200k defense after he super attacks, which would be around double-digit damage even in Super Battle Road. And then he's got a 70% chance to dodge on top of that. It's like unless you're getting like massively unlucky where every attack is before him, I feel like he would be good in there. I mean, especially compared to everything else AGL has to offer. Right?
Well, yeah. Well, so what I did was I took him in a normal Super Battle Road. He was actually doing very well, which I expected him to do. He was good there. But I took him into Extreme Super Battle Road, and I put him into many different situations: items, no items, third slot, first slot. You know, getting attacked before the first slot is able to get the attack off, attacking in the first slot, then getting hits. I did all of those, and so if I had no items activated and it was him and say Super Vegito on rotation, he was in the first slot, he would attack, you know, he got his attack off, no problem. And then, so he has that 70% chance to dodge. He has that, you know, 240% passive going through with him. And then he gets hit, say, twice. He would dodge once, usually, but then the second attack he would take, still like 90k for, yeah.
So, who is your leader?
So first time I did it was with a double Super Saiyan for Goku, so that's 120 to the Vegito, obviously. Yep. And then in terms of the second leader, I used who was it? I was gonna say Super Saiyan Goku, but he's Super Saiyan category, and Vegito's not on there.
Yeah,
he's not on the Kamehameha category either, so he's only really under a 120 lead.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. Like now, when I use items and everything, he would take around 40k ish or so after getting that first attack off if he didn't dodge, which is still fine. But I feel like he's not the savior we are hoping for AGL Extreme Super Battle Road to make it a little bit easier.
That is a bummer because I mean, after he attacks in slot 1, he's at 270% defense in total. Like, it's very high.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like I said before, in normal Super Battle Road, he does just fine. In Infinite Dragon Ball History event, doing just fine. Legendary Goku event, doing just fine. But I think most of us were hoping that, okay, AGL Super card here, we got Extreme Super Battle Road here. Let's see if he can kind of bring it back up a bit, because obviously, Super AGL, I think, is the majority of us say it's the hardest of the super stages.
It's just, they dialed the difficulty so high up.
Yep, exactly.
It's so hard in there. Super Tech is actually the same. It's just like the roster is a bit better for handling it than AGL is.
Right. Yeah. So it's but like I said, go and test them out yourself. See if you get a little bit better luck than I did, or maybe it works out better for you. But I think the biggest thing I still don't like about it is the fact of he has to be in that first slot, and I'm not. I wish they had taken an approach, and Nolar and I were talking about this earlier, where we wish he had something like the free to play Yardrat Goku, where first slot was, one particular part of his passive / dodging, but then maybe the second and third slot was like a slightly lower chance to dodge, but you get extra defense every time you're hit or something like that, or something along those lines, right? Just a little bit more flexibility there, but forcing him to be in the first slot to get all that extra attack and defense, and then so again, that's my personal opinion. So
see, what's interesting is they did make him go, like, he's super crazy, right? Super crazy good. But they could have actually gone a little bit better with him, because no matter what, he's not going to replace Blue Vegito, right? So like, they could have made him the best free to play unit in the game, and it's not like he's going to replace that new unit that just came out recently. So
yeah, well, the only place he's replacing, you're talking about the tech one, I'm assuming, right? Obviously the LR.
Yeah. Blue Vegito,
Yeah, so the only place he's replacing that guy, or quote unquote replacing that guy, even though because he's not on the category, is the Majin Buu category, right? Yeah. And we're all assuming that we're going to get a new leader for that within the next couple of months, whether it's during July for the Tanabata banner or the 350 million download celebration at the end of August. Again, we're not really sure when. But then I see the tech support Vegito getting his EZA probably around that time, maybe a little bit afterwards, but I'm not sure. But probably tech Vegito is going to be better with his EZA.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing we have to get through first, which actually has me way more excited than these Vegitos, is the Buhan EZAs. The buff Buu, and then like Buu Gotenks.
Oh yeah, okay.
Those are the two I really, because like, we need that.
God, that buff Buu needs an EZA. God, guys.
Well, Buu Gotenks too. I think Buu Gotenks is super cool. Like, I really like this fight with Gohan, right? Like, I liked all that, and like, he's fodder. Like, I think he could be a Dokkan Fest exclusive character. So
yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they're gonna do, because we've only got up to Super Buu technically now. So I mean, obviously we still have things like Ultimate Gohan. We've got the Buu tanks. We've got Buhan. We've got all that stuff in between there. And then
what I'd love to see them do? It's anime filler only, but remember when Goku tosses the earring to Gohan, Gohan drops it. In the anime, Goku goes Super Saiyan 3 and fights for a little bit.
Right.
I'd love if they made that, but then put him on Patara.
Nah, that would be hilarious.
Because like, the funny rule is like, it's like the characters that are wearing it that fuse, and it's like, Goku does fuse like 5 seconds later. So like, they could do that. That would be good. I mean, Patara needs it, but with hero stuff coming, I guess they don't need it that bad.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, because actually that's another possibility we could see here in June, right after Kefla comes out, is we could potentially see a Heroes banner, because we did get that last year at this time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We got the missions, the mission hero that brought along the some of the awakenings, or like Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Wait, was it the time that they awakened the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Vegeta, the Zeno?
Okay. Right? I was about to say it was only because of the game, like a collab with the game, right?
It was a Switch game, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not true, because like around this time a couple years ago, when physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks came out, they brought the heroes back again, and remember they gave that one Gotenks an awakening.
Yeah, the tech adult or tech teen Gotenks.
Yeah.
He was Super Saiyan. He awakened to Super Saiyan 3. Yeah.
He needs an
Several
EZA too.
different times around this time of year they've done heroes. So yeah, that could happen.
So we'll have to wait and
Well,
see.
I guess the question is so Kefla is like basically end of May / beginning of June. Like I guess you could call it the June Dokkan Fest, right?
Basically.
She'll come in May. Because the Tanabata usually is the last couple days. Well, I think technically Gohan and Goten were July 1st, but Ultra Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I believe he came out.
They always come out like 2 to 3 days before the month comes out. So it's technically the end of whatever month it's in, but most people will just say it's the following month. So Kefla will come out May like 28th, 29th, most likely of May.
Okay.
But again, we mostly just call her the June Dokkan Fest because she's gonna be there for the good
at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. So then we're gonna then we'll presumably get an LR, like this for a second part, like a new LR.
Yeah, I kind of think they're gonna bring out UI Goku. Like the more I think about it, like
they could. You never know.
Goresh is busy, right? But I was really dying to see, how the JP player side is progressing with that.
So I've been watching a couple of JP YouTubers in terms of Dokkan, and I've been scouring the comment sections on forums and everything that I can find sometimes, and a lot of people were definitely excited to see that UI Goku is a thing. And obviously you have players that are really jealous. You have players that are hoping that with Kefla coming, you will see her bring the UI Goku, because again, part 2, potentially there'll be an that LR could come as well. And then people saw the EZA for Rose, and then people are going like, what the heck is going on here? Because they've seen the V-Jump stuff, so Kefla, and then the EZAs for Kale and Caulifla, and then Global has the UI Goku and the EZA for Rose. So I think a lot of people would have preferred that over on the JP side, and that's what I've been seeing in the forums, at least with the kanji I can translate. So yeah, that's what I've been seeing so far.
The other thing too, I saw Goresh say that the wording in V-Jump did say that it was going to be a normal EZA for Kale and Caulifla too, right?
It said, yeah. So when I double checked the kanji and triple checked it, it says normal EZA. You can tell if it's EZA or Easy Area, because at the end of EZA, they'll have the katakana for area or not. And there was no area katakana on there, so it's just going to be normal EZA. So it's probably going to be very similar to how the AGL Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku and the STR Majin Vegeta EZA was.
Yep.
You get both medals for them, and it's just simply 1 through time. So.
Yep. Okay, so so they don't usually do multiple like normal EZAs in one celebration. They could, but that does likely mean that Rose is probably a month
later.
out.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I would be very surprised if they're gonna go Kale and Caulifla and then they go into like Super 17 or something like that, right? Like I doubt they'd skip over Rose to start the 120% lead. So I don't think Rose is that far off on JP.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, they could easily do Rose for JP if during the Tanabata, July celebration.
Yeah.
Or they, who knows? They shoot off some random EZA that we never even thought of or something, right? I mean, there is a small potential because I think before V-Jump came out, most of us were expecting, okay, all we've got left now is AGL Rose on JP. That's going to come out in June with whatever's coming with the Dokkan Fest. Nope, we are clearly all wrong, right? We got Kefla, and then we got Kale and Caulifla getting their EZAs. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that, I agree with Truth's reasoning. Like that makes logical sense. But again, we're talking about Akatsuki, so you throw that all out the window.
Yeah, logic is out the window with them.
So by saying that, I'm just saying, yes, it would make sense to put Rose right after the Kale and Caulifla EZAs, but they could just throw out some cards that like desperately need EZAs, like the 7 EZAs we had last year, for the Battlefield cards. They could do the same thing here and just throw some random ones out. And it's not saying it's bad, it's just not what we expected.
I actually would love that. Like
I would
unit
too. Yeah.
that really need it would be awesome.
Yep, I'd be down for that.
I 100% agree. Like, I hope they know that it's not just Dokkan Fest units, like old Dokkan Fest units that need the EZA. There are a ton of units that have come out that need it as well. So again, we're still talking about Akatsuki, so who knows what's really going through their head. But ideally, you would want some changes with that.
Okay,
But
I linked the. I'm sorry, but I linked
Oh,
the
yeah.
Tampa celebration from last year in the chat. I'm looking through it because I'm curious.
It
Okay,
was.
there-
This is when they did the six units: the Super Saiyan Goku, the Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, the Metal Cooler, all of them. Yes, this was during
Yeah,
the
but-
time that they did that.
There was 2 EZAs during that because we also got Broly's. So
Yep.
Did we get physical Broly? Oh yeah, we
Yep.
did get physical Broly. Yeah, so we get a normal EZA, and then because if I remember correctly, with the 6 units, it was like answering questions on Twitter type thing, and then
yeah, didn't they pretend like it's like, oh, if you get this one right, we'll EZA the next unit? It's like, all right, yeah, y'all are gonna EZA all of them.
yeah,
Relax.
we know they're gonna easy all of them, but it was to build tension, air quotes here and everything. So, but yeah, that's definitely a win. So hopefully they'll do something like that again. I mean, because to this day, I think most of those 6 units that got that a special EZA are used by a lot of people. I mean, I know for a fact Into Metal Cooler is easily one of the best of those 6. That dude is amazing now with his EZA. So
You know what's interesting? Actually, hold on. Those EZAs were announced during the Tanabata celebration, but they actually were in the next celebration with Piccolo. They weren't even part of the Tanabata.
And that was the one that had the cell, right? The STR cell.
Yep.
I remember they
believe
came
so,
together.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a good celebration because that had STR Cell, the 7 EZAs, and a Prime Battle LR. That was a good celebration.
Yeah.
That was a very good. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so the little Twitter campaign thing was for the 6 units. That was
EZAs.
during the Tanabata
Yeah.
banner, and then we actually got the events to EZA them during the following celebration. So
Yep.
Okay.
Dokkan Wiki is very, very organized and well run because
Yeah.
they've got like all this stuff all archived on here.
That's
Very easy.
definitely easy to go through and check it all out. So yeah, we'll have to keep that in
By
mind
the way,
right there.
I double checked, and I was also wrong about Ultra Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. He released on July 1st as well. So the last 2 years, Tanabata has been July 1st.
Yeah, that usually makes sense because then 6 days later, the actual Tanabata banner drops because Tanabata is a holiday here in Japan, and that's when we get usually the year 5 LRs back along with whatever new unit came out at the very beginning of the month. So
Yeah, so like for everyone that's saying, like, I'm sure I was streaming the other day and everyone's like, oh, UI Goku for Tanabata banner. What they do is new Dokkan Fest unit released July 1st. Then a week later is the Tanabata banner, which also features the new Dokkan Fest unit
right.
on it. So and it's basically another Dokkan Fest banner, right? Because it's got all the other featured units, Dokkan Fest units from like the last like 5 years, right?
What if?
So-
Okay, so yeah, you keep going.
No, I was just saying, like, UI Goku is not a Dokkan Fest unit, right? He's just a
Right.
regular legendary LR. So he'll show up on it's either going to happen 2 weeks after Kefla for like that second part of the celebration, or it's like a couple months later. So
Yep.
just
What
letting
if-
people understand. So yeah, go on.
Okay, so like everything about the card is from his fight with Kefla, except for the card art, which is from his fight with Jiren, right?
Right.
So what if they do another Dokkan Fest Jiren for Tanabata, and then UI Goku is the LR for part 2? That would be interesting.
They could do that.
That would be, but so far all the Tanabata, well, I guess Jiren's a super unit, right? A super card.
Yep.
So I guess it will work because I was just gonna say like all the past 2 Tanabatas, like full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the LR Gobros, they're all been super
Ooh.
units. So
Who was 3 years ago?
there wasn't one 3 years
There
ago.
wasn't. Yeah, there's only been 2 Tanabata banners. First one was Super Saiyan 4 Goku, along with the fusions came back. And last year was the Go Bros and the Super Saiyan 4s. This year will be whatever we get and the blue fusions.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. So the Tanabata banner slot 3 years ago was like a select Dokkan Fest that had like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Vegito.
Oh, yep.
Right? Like that was
Yes.
sort of the replacement.
Right.
Because I remember that was like just after I started my account, and I did one multi on the banner and I pulled Super Vegito and Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Right. Yeah. So they
Well,
and they
there's your
tell you
AGL combo.
they tell you in the news that so again, like when Super Saiyan 4, it's full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku came, his initial banner was your typical normal Dokkan Fest banner, right? had 7 featured units, all TURs, nothing special there.
That banner sucked, by the way.
And then when he went into the Tanabata banner, they told you that, hey, the rates are down a bit because there's so many featured units and everything. So that's just,
I think there's like 20,
God,
like 20 something units.
Yeah, there's gonna be so many. It's gonna be
Yep.
terrible.
So the thing is that whatever the new Dokkan Fest is on July 1st, if you want to pick that unit, which me and Truth will always only want that, then we'll just only go on that banner. We won't even touch the Tanabata banner because there's like 30 units that are featured. Yeah. It's gonna be a mess. There's gonna be so much going on
For other players, though, because I mean that's the likely returning spot for the Blue Fusions, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the best time for you to pick them up with coins if you've got coins saved. Yeah, I would never I would honestly not touch the Tanabata banner unless you absolutely need multiple cards in that banner, right? I need 4 or 5 of them, but.
The one good thing is that even though it is a lot of units, it actually usually is good quality units, like Dokkan Fest exclusives that have EZAs, right? Rather than like Int Hit and AGL Khalifa and shit like that. So that is good.
Yeah.
And I think,
you're absolutely right about that.
I think Nolar, he pointed it out again that if you're more of a newer player that say you've got say 400 stones saved up or something like that, and you could use a lot of those Dokkan Fest exclusive cards / potentially getting lucky for an LR. Just to help build your teams essentially, then it might be worth a few multis for you. It really will. But if you're somebody who has everything and you're trying to knock down one particular unit, that's where it's pretty much like, okay, maybe don't go in this banner. So
yeah, that's pretty much JP. We kind of talked about. There's not much going on now. Clearly, next week there's gonna be more with Kefla out.
I think we will get the data download, I think on the 27th. Because usually when they do these data downloads, they'll do it like the following week, right? It's usually the same day, just like the next week. So that's when I expect it. And then probably Kefla on the 29th. Makes the most sense to me.
Somewhere between, so currently it's the 24th in Japan right now, so it's Sunday. Somewhere between the 25th, which is tomorrow at 5 p.m., or the 26th at 5 p.m. One of those 2 days, we'll see the Twitter announcement most likely. Get the data download on the 27th, like you said, Truth, and then the 28th, the banner should be live.
I have to imagine that she is going to be very good, and the animations are going to be very good. She's going head to head with UI Goku, so
I expect it to. Yeah, I think those are a pretty normal thing to expect from her. So,
I assume y'all started with JP.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Global yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we haven't. Yeah, so we actually talked about a little bit longer about JP than I thought we would. But that's fine. So now let's go into what everyone is raging about right now, and that is the global side of the game, which is the 2 big points: UI Goku LR and the EZA for AGL Rose. I'm assuming we'll start with the LR. Truth, you've had a chance to summon for him. It sounds like. Did you get lucky? I haven't been able to watch the streams yet.
Yeah, okay, so I've done a lot with him, right? Utilizing the beautiful private server, among other things. I've seen Goku on Extreme Super Battle Road, everywhere on the team with the Blue Fusions. I've seen it all. He does feel like number 1 to me. Like, using him next to the Blue Fusions, I was like, okay, yeah. He's very surprising because we got Whis a couple months ago, and it's like, dude, he's so ridiculous, that Whis card.
Oh yeah, no, he is.
They just made an LR of him, is what they did.
Except they gave him attack too, though, because Whis doesn't have that much attack. He's more of a defense guy, right?
Yeah. But it's so insane what this UI Goku is capable of doing. Now, the one weakness he has is I still find that guard ability to be just fodder, right?
It is. It honestly is.
It's not anything crazy. But besides that, Link set, 70% chance to dodge is so strong. And he's got a ton of defense even without the dodge too. He's impressive. Even against UI Goku, he was taking double digits from normals without items.
I expect that, yeah. I'm assuming you ran him on Beerus's team? Like God Key?
I actually can't remember. I think it was Kamehameha I ran him on.
Okay. So bottom line, he's getting good stats across the board, because I kind of mentioned this in my video initially when I saw his, like his leader skill and everything. I think he's one of those few LRs that, because he doesn't really have to worry about key and he's got good key links for the rest of his teammates, you really don't have to worry about running his particular leader to help him get off his 18 key super attack or anything, right? Like you just throw him under a normal Beerus lead or UI Goku or okay, you get the idea when I say that. Or Zamas or something. He's gonna get his 18 key super attack no problem, right? So yeah, I could definitely see that. And by the way, I'm seeing all the questions in the chat because you started mentioning about next to the blues and everything. Guys, he was using a private server to test us all out and everything, and we're
yeah.
Obviously, Beerus is not out on global. UI Goku STR is not on JP yet. Obviously, this is just testing stuff out, seeing how he looked and everything. So
I expect Beerus to probably come out in June. By the way, for global, that makes a ton of sense now.
Well, I mean, because they did that with Kid Goku last year, right?
Yep, but especially even because like Beerus piggybacks off of UI Goku, right? He's another Realm of Gods leader.
Yep.
Oh, he's the best one in my personal opinion. In terms of,
I think I like Zamasu a bit better actually, because then you could put Turles and Kibu on the team.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, because Beerus picked up Realm of Gods and Anger Explosion.
Yeah, the Explosion of Anger.
Explosion of Anger category. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty good too, because then you could put LR Gohan on Realm of Gods, and he works very well on there.
I mean, well, the thing is, like, I feel like with Beerus and then Zamasu, they definitely, especially with the EZAs for Merge Zamasu and into Blue Vegeta, they definitely delineated two categories of Super Realm of Gods and Extreme Realm of Gods.
Yep.
So for me, yeah, you can do the AGL Zamasu's lead and then have the LR into UI Goku as in there, and with Turles and Kid Buu, but you could also, I feel like you want to run him with Beerus because that's more of a super version of Realm of Gods, and then AGL Zamasu runs more of the extreme version, but it's just how I see it in my mind.
I definitely agree with that.
So
anything else?
Do you think?
Oh, go ahead. Good.
I was gonna say, so Truth, in honestly, do you think it was worth it to go in? Like, is he that much? Like, is he that worth it compared to waiting for the card itself? Just chasing the card, is that worth it? Despite the fact there's 12 featured units, it's a legendary banner versus the fusions for the 5th year, where dual Dokkan Fest, red coins, really good banner units. Do you still think people should go for it?
I mean, I would say no. I mean, I think UI Goku, even if you think the fusions are better, he's definitely in the same class as them. I think the highest tier of the game is just those three. Like, I think they're on like a level above Kale and Khalifa and Gohan and Goten as well. But the UI Goku banner, it's so bad, right? Like, it's just so bad. Whereas Vegito and Gogeta banners, I mean, each of them have 3 Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs featured. You got Trunks, Zamasu, Blue Gogeta, Broly, Cell, Gohan. Like, you just have everything on there. Then red coins, 3+1s, and I'm sure Global will get even better discounts for those first 3 multis.
Tickets.
Yep, they'll have tickets.
Tickets.
Yeah, like it's incomparable.
Yeah.
But it's going to be special for Global at this UI Goku because, I mean, it's a global first, which they always go crazy for, but it's a legitimate, like,
yeah. This isn't tech hit. This isn't tech hit or anything, right? Where he's going to be forgotten. Oh, poor tech hit. So, but yeah, no, I definitely agree with that in terms of from what I've been seeing in terms of showcases and passives and everything. I would definitely agree with you that he's in the same what you call it, realm / category of high tier cards, essentially. The blue fusions in him. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But yeah, definitely, if you're a free-to-play player, probably skip this banner. Like 99.999% say skip it. Because, again, the value is just infinitely better on the Year 5 banners if you have to save your stones. If you pay for your stones, then obviously you spend on what you want, right? So.
Yes, sir.
He like, if you do manage to pull him though, he is worth it for sure.
Yeah. So All right. So then I guess the last thing to talk about is EZA AGL Rose. What are your guys' predictions for him? I'm personally, again, this is just me. I know I'm the weird one and everything, but I'm more hyped to see what he can do. Personally, if just showing what they did with the physical Vegito Blue, hoping that the same team or however, whatever people made that physical Vegito Blue EZA work on the AGL Rose. I want him to be busted. I want him to be busted. I don't even care. I want him to be busted.
Yeah, actually, I'm a little more miffed at the fact that the AGL Rose is getting the EZA first on global, than they're getting LR UI Goku. So mostly because like it's gonna come to JP. I know like both of them are gonna come to JP, but I feel like the EZAs can come whenever they like. They could put it next month or like 5 months down the line. I'd rather have the AGL Rose now than LR UI Goku, which again they could put it out 2 weeks later after Kefla or 5 months later. I can wait for that, but I'd rather have the AGL Rose. Back to your question of what I think, he's got to be like an ultra support unit. Like 3 key, 40% attack and defense. Like they got to give him something like that. Because they need to differentiate using him than the LR int, right? So
right, exactly.
The LR int is just extreme hard hitter. Like he's very good for that. So to make that different, they got to just make the AGL one like ultra support. I don't know what else they could do besides 3 key and X amount of percent for attack and defense. Maybe like increased chance to additional attack, or crit. Like as part of his kit for his allies, like that would be pretty cool if he's on rotation. So yeah.
Yeah, I think making him support is the way to go. One thing that's really surprising about it to me for global getting him first is just because, I mean, they're really, really devaluing that LR Rose banner. Because, I mean, if you've had an account that's been around for a while, Rose's been on a lot of banners. You probably have him with dupes if you're 500 days plus,
right?
So it's, if they make him a ridiculous support unit, something along the lines of 120% attack and defense start a turn, and then 3 key and 30% attack and defense to extreme class. I mean, there's a lot of times where you probably would just want to run him over the LR, honestly.
Yep. And especially because when year 5 starts, you can get the blue stones if you buy stones. And you can, if you see how good he is, even if you don't have him, or maybe you've got a dupe of him, you can go and snag another dupe of him if you need to, or just grab your first copy of him. And if he's, if he is, I'm not gonna say better than the LR necessarily, but like at that level or around that level, most people are gonna be like, fine, Rose on a banner, whatever. I'm gonna just snag this EZA. So.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that kind of doesn't make a lot of logical sense. Again, we're talking about Akatsuki, as to devalue the LR banner, but I still think people are still summoning for LR UI. Like they're just gonna do it. I mean, not UI, Rose. So like, people are gonna go ham for him because he is an iconic villain for Dragon Ball Super. But yeah, you make a lot of sense. Truth, can't argue that.
So, and then hopefully with his essay, he doesn't need a stack or anything, but it would be nice if he at least, I'd say, greatly raises for 1 turn, or heck, if they want to make it for 3 turns, I'm not going to complain if they do. Then he would just be like, that would be like my ideal right there. Give him that, I'd be like, dude, hell yeah, Gio Rose, man.
Now, quick question. Let me look it up real quick. What categories he's on? Okay, so Ramaga's Patara Future, Time Travelers, Diabolical Villains. Who did he kill again?
Gowasu.
Oh yeah. That's right. Oh, I was just like, I had to like remember what Diabolical Villains meant.
Yeah, that's where he'll be real interesting, I think.
Yeah, because that category's, I mean, I've only ran it once, Truth. I don't know about you, but it's just kind of a mismatch of a ton of different units that don't necessarily like link, or
yeah.
It looks like a lesser version of Full Power. It's just like, oh, there's a lot of great units that just don't link. Yeah. I think that'll be the most interesting case to use him once he EZAs. Granted, that's not on global, but when it comes to JP, that would be what I would focus on.
Leader's a bit wonky as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it
they're
going to be
not-
another year? Oh,
They're
go ahead.
more so like a unit you want to bring to difficult events. They're not a unit you want to run as a leader, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay. I guess that's it for. Is there anything else for global? I don't think so, personally, but
Not that I know of. I mean, next week we should see what EZA Rose the EZA for Rose does. Obviously everyone's gushing over the LR. I think that's it. Again, for anyone who comes in, maybe you're watching this later as a video, or if you're just joining now and you missed us saying it, if you're a free-to-play player, skip the UI Goku banner. As awesome as he is and everything, the value is infinitely better on the anniversary banners compared to this honestly crap LR banner, like all LR banners are. If you pay for your stones though, and you've got a ton of income and everything, then go for what you want, obviously, right? So.
now, quick question, just hypothetical. Would they ever do a legendary summon banner where there are multiple, not like kind of like top, but like good quality SSR, other SSRs added on the featured list? Or is it just going to be the one or two featured LRs and a bunch of crap SSR featured lists?
Honestly, it's probably just going to be the usual LRs and then crap SSR list. Someone actually asked me in a stream yesterday when I was streaming the World Tournament. They said, what would get me to actually summon on the these crappy LR banners, essentially? And I said, what you'd have to do in order to get me to summon on them personally, as someone who rarely summons on these things, is you'd have to make it double rates. You'd have to turn those double rate blue coins to gold coins, and you would have to make it 7 featured units, which I know is a pipe dream and would never happen or anything, but that is about the only way I would ever, summon a lot on those LR banners. So, but to answer your question, no, I don't think they will ever really change that. So, because they're basically luxury banners. So,
yeah, that makes sense. Alrighty, I guess we'll check your donations, see if we got anything.
Yeah, so
And
we'll
then
check
we'll
some
go to
donation
Twitter
questions and then other questions from Twitter. So, all right, question number 1 came in from Slaps, the $5 super chat. By the way, thank you for all of the support, guys. It always helps. Would you put LR, SCR, UI Goku, and Blue Fusions in the same tier? I think we kind of said that already. That we would.
Yeah.
So, yes, we would. And then we got 2 donations from Rules. He says, first one is Rip My Year 5 Global Luck, 4 LR UIs and 2.7k stones. And then he had a $10 super chat, says, Truth, I made you proud. Spent 2.7k stones on LR UI Goku, put 4 copies plus 500 yellow coins. Having fun with Spirit Bomb, Fat Boo, and SBR.
Man, I don't know how they do it, man. Like 800, like I'm lucky to get 1 copy on legendary banners.
Did you guys see the retweet that I retweeted out a couple days ago? This guy, he has it recorded and everything in terms of after the summon happened. You got 3 STR UI Gokus and 1 multi. I was just like, dude, what the? Oh my god. I just like, wow.
He has me beat in like 3,500 stones. So
yep. All right, and then a $5 super chat from Cruz. Did a couple multis to test my luck on UI Goku banner and failed, but I'm still near 6k stones for the 5-year anniversary. Still gonna keep saving. Okay. Here's another question from Platinum. I think that's euros, $5 euros. He literally just made it. Do you guys think that Global will get more Global First EZAs or not as the time just comes through?
Probably.
Probably. D-Free mentioned in my tweet that he says that they want to keep doing that. He was just surprised at how long it took for it to happen. I would expect more Global First EZAs. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. Yeah, because that's besides banners, like global first like units isn't content. Let's be real. You know, it's hype, And for us content creators, we make summoning videos, but for the other people, it's not. It's just 10 minutes of summoning and that's it. The real content is like EZAs, missions, story events, like that kind of stuff. So I think EZAs is probably the global first EZAs is the easiest way for them to give global exclusive content, timed exclusive content, because of course everything's going to cross over at some point. Yeah, so definitely going to happen from here on out. It's just going to be like at one point they'll get like strength Super Saiyan 4 Goku getting his EZA, and then JP will do something as a counterpart like the AGL Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and then we'll swap back and forth. So yeah, I think it'll happen.
Okay. All right. Apparently I didn't read the second part. I read the second dono from you, dude. What are you talking about? You said Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken sucks backside? Does he still, my boy? Huh? I'm guessing that's towards you, Truth. I don't know.
What was that?
Here, I'll put it in Discord so you guys can. So weird. I think this is angled towards Truth because he mentions Truth in the donation itself. So here, let me post it real quick for you to take a look. I don't know. Hang on. General. Go. There you go, Truth. Let me know what you did.
Made you proud. 2.7k stones on that. Super Saiyan Blue.
He's saying that he's now using the Spirit Bomb in Super Battle Road. I mean, one thing is, so I assume that means he didn't feed all the copies in, and he's using all three. That's what I'm assuming there. So he's using God Goku, Blue Goku, and the LR to use Spirit Bomb Kaioken Goku's the Spirit Bomb in like Super Battle and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I've been very hard on Blue Kaioken Goku because outside of his Spirit Bomb, he's okay. That's it. He's not great.
Yeah.
And even it's still like that too. Like especially using him side by side with the LR, he just is not on the same level. Like he's not even close to what UI Goku is doing. Defensively, offensively, he just doesn't look that impressive.
Yeah.
But it's like once you start busting out the Spirit Bomb, that's when things get a little bit different,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Seriously, Kaioken Goku is literally, I would say, just as a card unto himself, like a 6, maybe 6.5 out of 10. If I was gonna grade him that way, he's okay. Well, I wouldn't call him exceptional. It's just that you really get to see his power when you get the Spirit Bomb out. But that unto itself is super difficult because the Representative 7, Universe 7, is really small. So
it's like
you really have to. No, I'm just saying you have to build a team around him to see that. But yeah, anyways, what you're saying?
I want to rainbow, get the 15 copies, but I did that with Baby, and that was 15,000 stones, right? Like it's like, I don't know. Like if I could get like 8 UI Gokus in like the first 3,000 or 4,000 or something, maybe I'd consider it. But I just know it's gonna be like, all right, 5,000 stones deep. I've got 2 copies. The way that's gonna be. So
yeah. Alrighty, is that it for donos?
Yes, that seems to be it for the donos. So we'll go on to some Twitter questions now.
Here's a good one.
Oh, good.
So from Ryan, who's very active in all of our tweets, which is great. For Dokkan, do you think we'll ever see equipments that nullify the sealing of various effects like sealing super attacks, stunning, lowering attack and defense, and dodging?
I think it sounds like a cool idea. I know there would definitely be some times where I wish I could have lowered some dude's attack, or I could have sealed up this guy, or done something like that. And I understand why they do it in certain events where you can't do it and everything, but there is a point to where it's just like you give somebody the ability to seal or to stun, knowing they can only really use it in 2 events, maybe, and the rest of the events they can't. So I think that'd be kind of cool, to be honest. Maybe they'll be able to do it. Maybe we'll be able to see, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. What are your guys' thoughts?
So, I mean, I think it's a really cool concept. But again, if you just completely bypass it, that would be too much. So what I could see them doing is like here's an equipment that has it'll bypass the effect, but it only have like a 30% chance to apply. So
Right.
it nullifies the restriction, but then there's an RNG chance that applies. Like I could see that happening, and that would be more dynamic. Because I think that's what they want to do, is they want to make it more difficult, but if they want to like open it up a little bit, that's probably the path I would go, and that would be cool. But the thing is, you're replacing like a potential system additional effects with this condition of like lifting this restriction on whatever, sealing, lowering attack and defense, and dodging. You know, it's a good trade-off. You know what I mean? Instead of like, oh, I can now crit like 55% of the time, 54% of the time. Let me just only crit like 40% of the time, but then have a chance to apply the effect on my super. So I think that's like would be a cool trade-off if they restrict it just to equipment.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. And again, it'd be one of those things, you know, like, are you somebody who plays a certain event more than another one, and would it make more sense for you to be able to seal, stun, lower attack, whatever the case may be, or would you rather have, you know, your typical dodge and criticals and everything? So.
Yeah.
All right. Any boards, Truth, or what do you think?
Say it again? Any what?
And any thoughts? Any thoughts on that particularly? What you said? This question.
Well, I'd certainly want them to do better with equipment than what we got for Goku.
What we have. Yeah.
Because I think like character exclusive equipment was fine, but like just the one super attack effect is just like you know. So,
yeah.
Right.
Doing the sealing and the stunning, like bypass and stuff like that you're talking about, I think that could be interesting.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, the guy replied with another dono saying SSB Kaioken Goku only needs 2 allies and front counts as 3. So I guess he's still trying to fight you on that one.
It's still though, there's like not that many. Like to me, there's not that. You really have to build the team around him. So yeah, you got to bring us. Like you can bring the MVP 17 and like the Blue Evolution Vegeta, sure, but then that kind of limits the way you build the team. You know what I mean? So, the Spirit, like they made it restricted because the Spirit Bomb Goku, that active skill is so powerful. They restricted it so much, right? But you got to have 3. Be your friend lead, and then that. So until like we get more cards to play in to that category and really like flesh it out some more and give you more options to choose, I still don't think it's a hugely valuable thing.
The thing it blows the doors off of is Battlefield, because all those Gokus have a 50%, like the God Goku and Blue Goku have a 50% chance to dodge. And then the UI Goku is at 70%. And then if you do fall below low HP and then you can fire off the Spirit Bomb, I mean, you just have 0 chance of losing with Super STR if you have all of them.
It's true.
But I think the way I also look at it as well is it's not very realistic, I think, at least at the very beginning, to pull 3 copies of, you know, this STR UI Goku. Or it could have been anything, right? It doesn't matter who it is, right?
Me and Nolar, like, it's a stretch to say that we're gonna have them like all.
So,
go, right?
and I think the majority of people would rather throw in the dupe into the LR and not keep a TUR and an SSR version solely to throw a Spirit Bomb off, like what, 1-2 times maybe.
Yeah, you know, I would say with this unit, you probably do want to rainbow him before worrying about a TUR. The only one I've found that you probably do want to keep the TUR around is Kale and Caulifla. I need to use this Blue Goku a little bit more first, but
plus he hasn't been around. He's only been on 1 banner on JP, and on Global he's been on 2. Has he been on 2 banners in Global? I don't remember.
Oh, you're talking about Blue Kaioken Goku? No, I think he's only been on 1.
Only been on 1.
He's only been on the initial. Yeah. All right. So there's a question here on Twitter. It's pretty interesting. So last year it was Namek Goku that began the process of events that led to Gohan versus Cell for the download celebration. Therefore, if we get Kefla to fill in the same purpose, what do you expect for the download this year?
I still think GT. I can't imagine them just going years without doing a GT. Like, this doesn't make sense.
I don't know. That's
Like, you really think they're going to go 2 years between GT celebrations? No way.
I mean, if we're talking strictly the data or the download celebrations, I guess I can see GT. I don't get hyped for GT personally because the only thing I can see.
Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta? That's not good. That's not hype to you, huh?
It's not, because unfortunately what's going to happen is it's going to be exactly the same as the last time, where we had Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which was an amazing card at the time and awesome and everything. And then we got, physical Omega Shenron, who was also really good at the same time. But unfortunately, after less than a month, you never find Omega Shenrons at all to try and run his very limited team of Shadow Dragons, which, let's be honest, should have been the GT category. And then Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta came back on a lot of banners, which was awesome. And now we all shun him because we hate seeing him on every banner. So I know, obviously, if it's going to be a GT celebration, that means it's going to be some form of Gogeta, and then Shin Shenron that transforms into Omega Shenron. That's kind of obvious, I think.
Yep.
I just hope there, and again, this is Akatsuki, so we have to throw logic out the window. I hope that that both characters get equal treatment, and that there's reasons to see them, for months to come, obviously. So
Yeah, to piggyback off what Talon's saying is like Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. Like, for the time, he was a pretty decent card, and he still is, but he's not the best. But the thing is, I don't find any more Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken leads. No one on my friends list has them. I have to ask you guys, like, hey, can you put them up so I can use them? So until they fix the friend system, I agree with Talon. My hype level is comparable to how much I could find the lead and run the team. You know what I mean? Like, if I can't run the card, then there's no point of me being excited for pulling the card. I mean, I'm going to pull it and I'm going to rainbow it. Like, I want to do that. But for the average player, they're just going to be like, I'm never going to ever really run the team. So why get excited for it? Unless they do something super crazy with the leader skills or they change the friend system where you can have multiple of your units lent out to your friends. I agree with Talon. This is just kind of a non-starter on that regard. But again, I'm not saying that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is not hype at all. It is super hype. It's tempered. That's all.
Right. Yep.
If they do Shadow Dragon Saga / Full Power, that would be really good. Like, that's because you're putting all the Super Saiyan 4s with like Broly and Kale and Khalifa and all that stuff. Like, that gets interesting very quick.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It just shows you that Shadow Dragons, honestly, should have been GT. It should have just been a GT category.
Well, yeah, because they weren't like that was so. I mean, they started the Shadow Dragon Saga was basically the first category, right? That infusion. That's the problem. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is that they would need to build that up, which they still have not done years later, right? Like all the Shadow Dragon Saga is huge. There's a lot of characters in there, and like none of them are in the game. It's weird.
It is. It honestly is. So, and then especially when you do things like with the STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, where, yes, he was technically from the time when Baby was, first there. And that's the first time he ever went Super Saiyan 4. And at that time, not being able to throw that Super Saiyan 4 Goku onto that team just made people even less likely to run that particular lead. So, I mean, I think to this day, isn't Shadow Dragon Super Battle Road, like, I still see a lot of comments about I still can't beat it because I don't have this or I don't have this, because it's very limited on what you can bring. So
well, yeah, because you have to run Omega as your leader. Either him or the Spirit Bomb Kid Goku. That's it.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. That's the only thing you can run. That's it. So
the other thing that did sort of let that team down when it first came out is that you also had to pull both Gogeta and Omega, right? To run it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we got sidetracked because we were thinking the download celebration. Truth was saying GT. So, like, yesterday on Jinro's little radio show that we did, I said that there's 2 year, 4 year, and then probably 6 years going to be GT themed, right? But we also had the the when we had the tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and the physical Mega Shenron, that was a download celebration, like in between third and fourth year, I think. No. When was it? No, between second and third year, right? So
Yes. Mhm.
I could see this, like I could see what Truth's saying, that this could be GT, but I also can see them pushing it off until 6th year. You know, that would be pretty hype. And if that's the case, then this current 350 million, I can potentially see it. Like what he's saying, the question initially, this is how we got sidetracked. He was like, okay, last year was Namek Goku, and then we got into Cell and Gohan, right? This time it's Kefla, so could this be potentially TOP related? If it is, what do you see it as? Again, there's so many ways you could run a dual Dokkan Fest with with TOP, right? Like Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta versus Jiren, or there's so many other things you could do with it too. So like, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that's what the question was directed for.
I'd agree with that. I think that it could. There's a chance it could be GT, like True said, and I think the other possibility is to simply have, some kind of Buu Saga type thing. Because again, we did the whole Cell Saga thing last year, so it kind of makes sense to have them do it for this year. I know they did that questionnaire on JP after the Year 5 celebration in terms of bringing things like, Hero, Dokkan Fest exclusive cards and everything. I just don't know if they would do that just yet. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So, Truth, what do you think?
I don't think they would do Tournament of Power. I mean, I guess they could. I still think that UI Goku Jiren is anniversary. Like, that's going to be an anniversary. Like the actual UI Goku and full power Jiren.
Oh, the mastered UI Goku and
yeah, but I guess they easily could do like Evolution Blue Vegeta and God Topo. Like, I feel like that could work, right? Because Evolution Blue Vegeta, I feel like is very hype. He'll make money.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a no question right there.
I
don't know if they would do that just yet because Global just got the STR UI Goku. So I wonder if they would actually still do that.
Yeah, the only reason, so they obviously were scared about doing TOP stuff. I mean, that's clear as day, right? Because they've done almost none since Dragon Ball Super has ended. But it's not a coincidence, I don't think, that it's like, okay, do y'all want heroes? Everyone says, yes. And they go, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll start doing TOP stuff then because we got heroes we could dip into. So, do you want Super Saiyan 4 Kaioken Gogeta? Yes, I do. Do you want Great Ape Gogeta? Yeah. So, like, they got there's infinite Gogetas and Vegetos they have access to now.
All right.
Okay.
Any other? A lot of Legends questions. I did
Here's a
find
good one.
Oh, go ahead. Yep.
For Dokkan, do you prefer 170% to HP or defense on the leader skill?
Defense. No question. Defense.
True.
HP I found to be far superior for when you're eating super attacks, which is really where most of the damage is coming to a lot of the better units. So that's where it's going to be more useful.
I would lean more towards defense, just because the playstyle I have is I like to collect same color orbs as much as possible, which means it's all dependent for heals, and that's dependent on defense. So the extra little boost of defense means I heal a little bit more. So it seems to be a little more effective for that, at least with my playstyle. So defense for me.
Okay. Let's see. Dokkan, here's another question. So Dokkan, how do you guys feel about EZA area for the Hero Extermination event characters having not returned for 5 months and not being available with keys?
Wait,
huh?
Does that
how do you guys feel about the EZA area for the Hero Extermination event characters event not having returned for 5 months and not being available with keys?
Yeah, I guess it hasn't been here since January, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was back in January. So, I mean, personally for me, I would rather have the EZA areas for the Baba support units first over the Hero Extermination event characters. That's just me personally. So,
I think because he's just he's just basically saying that he can't go back and finish it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's because they haven't even put it into keys yet. I mean, yeah, I get you. I feel like the intention is for them to keep going back to it, so they got to have it soon. Like, I can't imagine they're just gonna let it sit there forever. Again, if we do GT, they could just do Majub and then the Super Saiyan 2 GT Goku, and then also if they still have Buu Saga options as well, physical Fat Buu, Majin Vegeta. So either direction they go in, GT or Buu Saga, I could see the next GT themed or Buu Saga themed celebration have that return with those units. Get
Right.
EZAs.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, all right. I think we've answered most of these already, and a lot of these are also Legends questions. I guess the last one would be because I've been seeing this a lot both in the chat live right now and then also a couple times in here. What do we think is going to be that Tanabata banner Dokkan Fest exclusive card? You had full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku 2 years ago. Last year we got the Go Bros after Global got them, but Global didn't get what everyone thought would be a Dokkan Fest exclusive LR. So what do you guys think we're going to get for the Tanabata banner? Or I guess right before the Tanabata banner.
That's July 1st, right?
Yeah, July 1st.
Okay, so I'm gonna ramble off here. So July, end of the month of May / beginning of July is technically Kefla. Then there's gonna be a legendary banner a couple weeks after that.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, it's most likely gonna be the Dokkan Fest unit is gonna probably be an LR. That's what I think, because then that would line up with Tanabata because it's gonna be featured in that banner. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be an LR Dokkan Fest exclusive. What will it be? Is kind of anything.
Maybe fun like an extreme unit.
That would be good.
Cool.
Or Cell just sitting there all alone.
Maybe full power bowling.
It could be Buu, right?
It could be, yeah. You never know.
Like a Kid Buu. Yeah, Kid Buu. That would make sense because that kind of lines up with the timeline we're sort of in the Z saga. So full power Broly, again, that would be a moneymaker. Like, any of those are moneymakers. So it's kind of like, I would prefer it to be an extreme Dokkan Fest LR, and any of those would be like satisfactory to me. But yeah, you're going with either Broly or Zamasu would be good, because that would line up with the fusions being on the Tanabata. So it'd be like, hey, you guys can get that and run them together or run them against each other or whatever. So that's a good thought process too.
Definitely. So, hello. We just got it'll chime here in a second. There it goes. We got a $20 super chat from Seth. I'm gonna call you Seth, man. I can't pronounce the end of your name there. I'm sorry. I know I butchered it. It says Dokkan needs stages of substance. Interesting / hard. Give me a 15-phase legendary tournament of power stage. Last stage is into UI Goku Mastered Goku and Battlefield Jiren at the same damn time. Side note, I like this pod.
Well, first off, thanks for the dono, and glad you like the podcast.
Yep. So basically he's saying to reiterate, Dokkan needs stages of substance. So he's saying interesting / hard. He says he wants basically another legendary Goku event type stage, but a legendary tournament of power stage, and to have either multiple opponents at the same time, especially the last events. Just overall, do we think Dokkan needs these particular types of events and everything? And I would personally agree. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a legendary Vegeta event or a legendary whatever category event or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, technically, I guess Infinite Dragon Ball History event is kind of that. They've done the Future Saga, they've done the Dragon Ball Super Saga, they've done Goku family, Vegeta family, all that stuff. So we've kind of seen that, but not particularly hard because you can cheese it and stack through everything, right? So
yeah. So for me, I was actually just thinking about this myself today, and the really thing they could do is merge the concept of like the long events, like Infinite Dragon Ball History and Legendary Goku event, with Super Battle Road, in the sense that instead of just one long battle, you go in for Legendary Goku event and Infinite Dragon Ball History. You do that, but then you have 3 stages in the entire, or 3 or 4 stages in the entire thing. So you have to reset all your defensive stacks, your transformations, and all that stuff. But it wouldn't be like, okay, you've got 3 units that are super hard and you got to finish it within like 5 turns or 7 turns. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. I would want to see a challenge where you would have to go 10 stages here, then you move on the map to the next stage, which is another 10 stages, something like that, where then they could open up the 6 item slots for this particular stage, because you have to run through so many things, and then you have to be really conscious on your resource management and your rotations and your planning, because you got to think, okay, well, I just restarted the stage, all my stacks are done, are gone, so I got to be cognizant of that and get ready for potential super attacks or seals or dodges or whatever. So that would be like the ultimate kind of thing, where you would have basically 4 legendary Goku events back to back, and you got 6 items and go for it. That would be the ultimate end game that I think most people would want to try and do.
Also do what the Goku family and Vegeta family Infinite History stages did, where one of them, the difficult part would be the start, not the end.
Right. Yep.
So that way, switching it up mid-event would make things very difficult.
Yeah, so I mean, I totally agree with him. They need to do, they've established you have the short events of Super Battle Road, and then you have the longer events like Legendary Goku, Infinite Dragon Ball History, and those have been good. But it's been a year since Legendary Goku event, right? So there should be more. Yeah, there should be more stuff like that. But again, what I suggested is 4 of those in one go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Hopefully we'll see something like that. All right. I think obviously I know we can't answer every single question, guys, but I think we hit most of them. We've been seeing in both the chat and in the Twitter questions that we got, and we got through all the donation questions. So I'll just double check the last donations. Yeah, that was the last one. So, all right. With that, we can move on to Legends, if our Legends guys are in here as well.
I'm here. I already called out to Raiyuden and Brad, but Raiyuden said he's running late due to family-related stuff, and Brad is just kind of MIA right now. So
okay,
feel free to message him, because he said he'd be coming. Mail, motherfucker!
Speaking of mail...
Let me just mute that.
All right. Well, with that then, let's go ahead and start talking about Legends then. So if you guys are here for the Legends part of it, we are waiting on Brad and on Raiyuden. Raiyuden said he'll be just a little bit late. He should be here soon.
The good news is there's not really a whole lot to talk about. It's just all pure speculation and what ifs and whatnots until the 26th, I think, is when they said that they were putting out that now it's reveals and stuff instead of whatever it was before. I don't know.
Video and stuff
podcast series that they're doing.
Yep.
So within 2 or 3 days, we should actually know what to expect. Until then, it's all just kind of very, very slow in the game, very samey. I mean, we could talk about just really the only thing is the very awkwardly timed battle system changes they just made. But beyond that, there's not too much else to really dive too deep into until we know more about the anniversary up and coming.
Well, I will say one thing I really hope is with that podcast that you just mentioned that they're going to have, or live, quote unquote, live stream / video, so whatever you want to call it. That's very soon, isn't it? It's in 2 days, right?
Yeah, I tweeted out the exact date and time. So just to be prudent, we can see that it is going to be at 7 a.m. PDT, which I guess that's Japanese time.
No, PDT. I thought that's Pacific Standard Time.
Isn't that PST?
Japan time is JST. So
okay, so maybe PDT and PST are the same thing.
Daylight savings time.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah, it has to
I
do with
guess
like daylight saving time.
That's why it confuses all the global players all the time.
Yeah.
I
Because
don't know why they do that instead of just PST.
they put Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Daylight Savings Time. Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
I understand. But yeah, 7 a.m. Pacific Time on the 26th. So, 2 days, basically 2 days from now.
Yep.
2 days and a few hours.
That's really late for my time, but whatever. So I mean, I think honestly the hope is that I think we're assuming they're going to show off the brand new units or some of the brand new units, because last year at the year 1 anniversary they showed off 3 units at that Las Vegas tournament, was it? But then they completely, just all of a sudden showed up this Golden Frieza and Buhan and all this other stuff, right? So we're not sure exactly, obviously, what's going to be in there. But I will say, though, for me personally, there's been a lot of speculation, but I think we're going to see probably Gogeta Blue and a new Broly, Dragon Ball Super Broly, and we'll see a Zenkai for either the red one, that free-to-play red one, or the purple one. That's been out for a while. I think that could happen.
I think they'll do it pretty big for anniversary. Some other people on Twitter disagreed that they would do multiple Zenkais at once because of how unpopular the system is overall.
The free-to-play one's pretty popular.
It wouldn't surprise me if they did a batch of them, even if like one of them is premium and one's free to play. I could definitely see there being at least 2 Zenkais also, kind of like what you just mentioned.
Right.
And with them teasing all this DBS Broly movie stuff, I could also see Gogeta Blue as a realistic option, like you mentioned. But there's so many options to put on the plate. It's hard to pin it down, like whether they're going to go with Gogeta Blue and this DBS Broly movie stuff as kind of like the events that are in the game right now would kind of suggest, or they could go with like the end of the Goku Black arc with Fuse Zamasu and Spirit Sword Trunks and an actual Goku that's Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan that's just not that only one that we have besides the Kaioken version, obviously. Right. But like one that's not in the Wii Ski, basically. We don't have a version of him that's not in the Wii Ski. Right. So it could be new versions of Goku and Vegeta to go along with, or will it be GT stuff? Like we could see, more Shadow Dragons saga stuff. So
yeah, we still don't have Omega or Gogeta yet, so we could definitely see that.
Yeah, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Omega. That's kind of what Goresh was thinking. I know he's not really here to voice his opinion, but he said multiple times that he thinks that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Omega Shenron might be involved. I don't really know what to predict other than the fact that now that Dokkan got this very specific Ultra Instinct sign Goku, I think that just based off the previous track record of like the Broly and Chi-Lai and Dokkan having that, and then Vegito, and then Dokkan having that and Legends getting it later. Now we have Kefla, and you're getting a Kefla and Dokkan. It really wouldn't surprise me if an Ultra Instinct sign Goku was one of the highlight units of Anniversary, just based off of how they bounced characters off each other many times in the past before.
Oh, easily. So, yeah, I could easily see that.
Like, all right, look, we're going to take Kefla first, and you get the other unit first, and then we'll flip-flop, and we'll trade. You get Ultra Instinct sign Goku first, and then we'll release that, but we got Kefla first. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a lot of collusion behind the scenes so that those two games could like help each other out, so to speak.
Oh, easily, yeah. Good.
Yeah, I mean the big thing is like I make this because the issue is we don't have the anime to go by. Like when Dokkan was playing when the manga or the anime was on air, there was always stuff timed with Dokkan to the anime, right? So like UI Sign Goku first came out, like an hour later in the JP version, it was announced, hey guys, UI Goku's coming, and it was the hype, like one of the hypest things we've ever had, right? So because we don't have that, the next best thing they can do is, now that we have Legends and we have fighters, they can coordinate like simultaneous releases, kind of, That's similar to like the Marvel games. All the Marvel mobile games tie big releases with the MCU, right? So when Infinity War came out, they had a bunch of like stuff planned for Infinity War content and yada yada for all the games. They're Marvel Content of Champion, Marvel Pause Quest, Strike Force, like whatever Marvel games out, they all tie it together. So I think it's in their best interest because even though they don't have the anime to kind of guide them, they have something where they can talk to each other and be like, all right, like Fighters releasing UI Goku, right? And of course, Dokkan releases UI Goku. It kind of would make some sense that Legend's going to release just UI Sign, something like that, and it would just tie together. So I agree with you that it's not necessarily collusion in a way. It's just more like they're working together to make like, because when you have simultaneous games having the same type of content, it really amplifies the hype in the release.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does. And again, if they're going to take advantage of the fact that Fighters just released UI Goku, then Global Dokkan did the same thing, it wouldn't be. It's still within that bubble of hype that if UI Goku, just using him as an example right now, was to be one of the anniversary units for Legends, where maybe he's that Legends Limited, and then obviously on the side we've got all these other random units that are there as well, then he could be really good. Or that's what they could do. Because I mean, last year, let's think about it. You had Super Vegito as a Legends Limited card, then you had the Blues, then you had Buhan and Golden Frieza. Like, what? That doesn't, they don't all, it's not just gonna be one little area of whatever the celebration is. That was just all over the place, right? So yeah. I definitely think we could see something like that where UI Goku could be the Legends Limited card, it's probably going to be double banners. Let's be honest here. One banner will be focused on, maybe Trunks and Zamos, and then the other one could be Gogeta Blue and Broly or something. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see though.
I definitely agree with all that. I think they're going to also try and one up. They're not only first anniversary, they're going to try and one up that with, more flashy, more appeal. But I also think that they set the bar for themselves really high right before Annie with that LF Frieza and LF Piccolo dual banner setup. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to even try and one up stuff like that, be it not necessarily all summon banners, but they'll have, a couple of free-to-play units to throw into the mix, the 2 banners, 2 LF units, maybe some campaigns and all this other stuff going on, but they're definitely going to try and one up all the stuff they've done so far. And again, not only with the banners and what's available, but picking really relevant, really hyped characters too, I think, if I had to wager a guess.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you're a little quiet. I can hear you.
Yeah, you're a little quiet. So,
is that better?
That's better.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Okay, I was just far away from the mic. Anyways, no, I agree with you, Nasdorachi. Yeah, they set it really high last year, reveal and everything, so they got to go the extra mile this year, which I think they will. It's just, I don't know if double LFs is the actual extra mile, but they're going to do that. So,
yeah, well, that too. Like last year, I mean, they did have, like you had mentioned, the tournament to go off of, but they didn't actually have any type of video or show or system to set up to announce stuff like this besides like the tweet teases on Twitter with images and in-game news. So this will be relatively new that they'll have this actual, again, I'm just going to call it a podcast because it's kind of what it is, but they'll have this new episode, this way of showing this off that we haven't really experienced before. So it could be very neat. It's something new and different for sure.
Oh, that was Truth leading. I was like, what the hell was that sound? No, I mean, freaking, I don't know. Legends does a pretty good job at reveals, honestly. Like, we all missed the little teasers and stuff like that. That's not coming back. That's fine. I do like when they sit down with Ryan and Kagi. I do like when they sit down and do that and tell you, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're changing this, getting a little bit of perspective from Toshi and everything. But I don't know. Actually, I like it. I was going to say they got to change something up, but they don't really need to change it up. I'm okay with it. It doesn't need to be crazy. Just get all the information out there, say what's happening, connect a little bit, and then dip out and wait for it to happen. I'm just gonna like it.
I mean, as much as I enjoy the little teasers, it was minimal community engagement, right?
Oh
With
yeah,
the
100%. Yeah, it wasn't a good way to market for sure.
Yeah, with the way it is now, it's way better for them to interact with the community and like kind of inform them and interact in that regard. So that's good. But I do miss the little teasers when, like, I feel like it's kind of like the Dokkan now. If I'm going to relate it back to Dokkan, it's for the really big events, having these like video cast podcasts are really good. But I don't feel like for every single release they need to do that. If I was going to be the marketing, I'd be like, okay, we'll do like the UST banner. We're going to pepper it with some of these reveal, like Twitter hints and reveals, and like, let them do some math and whatever to figure it out. And then for like a really hype like Dual Fs or anniversary or something along those lines, we'll do like the podcast, which means everyone's going to tune in. It's going to be more communicative in that regard. But either way, they're trying to really engage with the community. So regardless of it, if you like it, you don't like it, you can't fault them for at least trying. So
no, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's better that they do something than nothing. But then, like they've said repeatedly, like they can't do too much, because then it sets a unrealistic expectation for people to complain and be like, all right, we're gonna change this within a week or something like that. And they obviously don't think that they have the resources to be that, hip with the community.
Well, so you're dealing with a game that's like, it's like Dokkan, it's easy. You just put a patch into it. Everybody has their own individual game. Hey, great. They still make their tiny mistakes, whatever else. But Legends, I mean, we're talking everything is PvP. 80% of it is PvP. And that's involving people's player connections and all this different stuff. To change that, I get why they don't tell us anything ahead of time before it's like ready, or like, look at multi-Z power. The fact that they told us, oh, we might get the Legends
legendary
power, and then it's like now everybody's just waiting on that. Dude, give me that. Let's do it. I want that. And they're like, hold on. We got to make sure we have like 15 in the game first. Like,
yeah, definitely the danger of teasing something too soon and then it's not ready in the game. I mean, that goes well outside of just Legends too. That could be said even like things like No Man's Sky, like huge debacles in gaming.
I watched a whole video about No Man's Sky, and it's like that dude got wrapped up in some stuff, man. Like, I don't know, not to change topics too much, but I watched like a 40-minute video on that, and that thing was crazy. I didn't even play the game when it came out, so I had no idea all this stuff. But I don't know, man. But yeah, they can't set those kind of expectations and tell you, well, we're going to change this immediately. You know, it may depend on the game, the phone that you have, this, that, yada, yada, 5,000 different things. And it's like, well, they can't expect to change it overnight. So I get it. It's just, they've gotten a lot better at communicating with us, which is a million. I'll take it. Think back to the first 6 months Legends was out. The first year Legends was out. We didn't hear anything from them. They barely even tweeted stuff. They'd be like, here's a new character. Peace. You know, it's lit. That was it. So they've gotten significantly better.
Yeah. Did you guys? Okay, so there wasn't a whole list of stuff, but it did have some topics. It was we can Super Saiyan God, Shallot, powerful opponent tag, tackle adjustments / combo strings, and then of course the broadcast. But I think you guys let off on that whole broadcast thing.
Yeah, that's definitely the newest. Everyone in the chat is also spamming that they want a rematch button, and I mean. I don't know what you want from us, but I agree with you. Like, it should be the whole combat and queue system of this game should be much more similar to Dragon Ball FighterZ. I agree. I agree with the community, and I mean, I'm out here spearheading it, saying that we need it also. So yes to rematches, yes to showing people's connections before the match starts.
Oh god, that'd be so nice.
Yes to being able to say yes and no to match said person who has a potato connection, like all of it. Yes.
Dude, let me rematch like co-op too. Like, I'm grinding co-op.
Oh,
yeah, dude,
so
seriously.
Just let me rematch it. Like, give me 3 separate teams to use on each of the tiers, and then let me rematch. We good. I will actually praise co-op at that point if you let me do that. I hate going out, clicking through everything. I gotta rebuild a different team. God forbid I want to grind a different color of Zenkai Soul. I gotta rebuild a whole different tier. Everybody's like, use auto select. I'm not using auto select. Sorry, I don't want to do that to my opponent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be facing the final one with God Vegito has a 25% buff when I could be rocking Super Saiyan 4 with a 50% buff. But it's just, there's little tiny things. They've done a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. They've done a lot of things. So we all get all like, oh, this needs to change and that. And they fixed a lot of stuff, but lag's always going to be there. That's the main. It's always going to exist. We play this kind of game, but I do want to throw one thing in. Talking about the legendary finish multi Z power. You guys watch them give it to where it's going to be 3-star and up, and then you can use multi Z power on legendary finish units. Watch them do that. They have to be a minimum of 3. That's something they would totally do.
Oh yeah, or minimum 4 or 5 stars and up, and then you.
I was just gonna say 5.
I can't
Minimum
imagine 5 and up. That'd be crazy. But I don't know.
I mean, you're right. It would be crazy, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of what they would do.
No, they already do that. They're like, hey, even the person who got like #1 in the world, the Z power you get's only for 4-star and up. It's like, all right, sick.
Yeah, I have a 3-star Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and after that season, I went to power him up, and I'm like, wait, did they not send it out? Like, I don't even have it. And then I looked at my actual inventory where it just shows you everything you have, and it's like 4 stars and up. I'm like, oh my god.
Where did you place it in that season?
Somewhere around like 5,500, I think.
It's pretty high up there. When you take into account they only count the top 20K. So say there's like another 70,000 kids that play, and you're placing 5,500, and they're like, well, you got to use some of these other ones from grinding co-op, and then you can do that. So
yeah, I am by no means throwing shade at those that finished higher in top spots, but like there comes a point where I was getting 3 RP
Oh,
for like,
dude, I don't know how people
and I literally began to question like, how are they doing it? And like, I'm not okay. I'm not throwing any type of accusations around, but I figured out that they're just either playing it's 2 things. They're playing an ungodly amount of time, and they're just getting good luck queuing with opponents that have lots of RP.
So it's not even like wrong, honestly. Like, you need a little bit of luck. You keep getting matched with people above you or below you, and it's like, oh, that's what happened last day, dude.
Like, so not only is the battle luck with feints and rising rush and paralyze and stuff like that, but there's like luck in RNG even queuing against an opponent and hoping you get someone that was actually worth your time fighting.
But dude, that's just in general. I mean, every aspect of, I think I would say Gachas in general, it's just become so heavy RNG based, and that's just every market that there is now. Like, think about equipments in this game. I mean, Legends is pretty gnarly. Literally every single thing is RNG minus like multi Z power. It's the only consistent thing that you're gonna get that multi Z power for it. As long as if I randomly make noise or something, I'm sorry. My girlfriend's cat's rolling around on the desk, so I apologize if she bumps my mic or something. No, it's just every single thing is RNG. You even look at Pokemon Masters, man. They give you like, oh, look at these lucky skills, and you get like 1 run a day to do the thing, and then you got to just take a chance you get a good one. And there's like 90 different lucky skills. It's like, all right, nice. So it's just the world we live in. So yeah, the Legends is no different. But getting matched with somebody that sucks, or they have a bad connection, on top of, say, you get fainted twice, you get your Rising Rush match. It's just like perfect.
And they definitely need to, and although this sounds sarcastic, they definitely need to add a rematch button so you can just experience all that fun and excitement with the same person over again, should you so choose to.
Dude, no, it needs to be a thing, bro. Like, it does sound sarcastic, but it needs to be a thing.
Yeah.
Legends is just always late to the party on stuff. That's the main thing.
I'm hoping, what I expect, because again, I don't have a crystal ball, but just based off of paying attention to their previous video and stuff podcasts, I would expect the major guild changes to come this anniversary. Seeing as how they've mentioned it, it's probably on the dockets. Maybe like another game mode or something like that. But if there is a whole lot of that going on, I would anticipate a lot of it to be related to guilds. I think the PvPQ system could use a lot of work, mainly a lot of the stuff we've already just been mentioning. The equipment system, like someone mentioned in chat, the equipment system, like farming it up, is terrible, but I feel like it could be alleviated just by adding different items to the game. Like, they could solve that one pretty easy. Like, something as simple as like a golden eraser, where if you use the golden eraser to remove a slot, it guarantees that your next roll will be better than the one that you just erased. Something as simple as that could really improve the equipment system. The equipment awakening system needs a lot of attention too, but hopefully the anniversary will start to address, because they seem to do stuff a little bit at a time. Like whatever they start, they work on a project, they finish it, and then they kind of forget about it for a while, come back to it. So hopefully they start addressing at least some of these issues here soon, and I think they will.
Well, I mean, I think based on him at least being communicative with us, or communicating with us, they're starting to give a crap, and you could definitely see it, because I think realizing when they released 2 LFs and they still didn't hit top gross, and they're like, yo, we got to fix some stuff. That's kind of how it felt to me, because that was when they started like looking at things, and it felt like things were kind of shifting a little bit. It wasn't just stagnant at that point, which it gets its points where it's stagnant for sure, because there's just not enough events going around. They don't give you back Legends Road events anymore, and it's just stuff like that. But they're definitely giving a crap now compared to how it was. You can definitely see it. So they'll start changing some stuff. But if they roll everything out at once and they got nothing to change, and they can't be like, hey, we changed this, come back. It's like, that's just how it is.
Someone tagged me in chat and was asking about the rematch system for PvP, saying like, couldn't people exploit that and use it to farm EXP? And the quick answer, without much development, would be yeah, if you matched up coincidentally with someone that you knew. But the easy solve for that is just make it a best of 3. Like, you can only rematch the same person twice to get to best of 3, and then you forcibly have to find a new opponent.
Or what you could do with that as well is they have something like this in fighters, and I'm not saying to make it exactly like this, obviously make it however you want to, but usually it's like in fighters, if you are going against somebody, you continue to rematch if you want to. And most people, I think, generally go with the rule of 3 or rule of 5. But if you rank up or your opponent ranks down or vice versa, you can't fight them anymore. So maybe what they could do for Legends is that between so the level 35 to 40, you could continue to rematch somebody if you want to. Maybe still make it 3 rematches in total, and then you do it automatically. But then once you get up to the level 50 PvP, where it's basically based on your points that you have, say if you accumulate, say, I don't know, I'm just throwing a random number out here, 5,000 points or something like that, depending on if it's, triple, double, or normal, then you can't rematch that person, and you have to go back and you have to find somebody. They could do something like that, I think. That'd be a pretty cool system.
It should already do something like, I mean, they don't, but it should already do something where you can only match with somebody, because I should never be rank 50 with 7,800 RP, and I match with some kid that has 4,000 RP and he's rank 35 on the money. I should never match with him. It's just I have a 14-star Kakarot and Kid Goku's 14 stars and he's rocking a 2-star Beerus. That's just not completely fair. So they should already do that, where 35 to 40, you can only match with people in that rank. And then, yeah, like you said, if they get out of that 40, then you can't match with them anymore. You can't rematch them, whatever. I don't know. There's so many changes they could make to it that would be positive that it's hard to say which one would actually be the most positive, the most quintessential. But I do think you're on the point right there. Yeah, they once they get too high out of your range, you can't rematch with them or whatever else. Fighters has a really good system, so it's it wouldn't be a bad thing if they took a bunch of stuff from Fighters, honestly.
Yeah, their queue system is so good. I mean, and I'm not talking about the netcode, the internet lag, and stuff like that, because that's present over there a little bit too, just like every other game. But the option to see someone's information before you queue against them, and if they quit a lot, they actually have a branding on their account, turns their name purple, so that person is not a reputable player. Little things like that could really, really help out a lot.
Do you think there should be a disband button in PvP? Or do you think it should only be co-op?
No, I think it should. Before you queue with somebody, if you can see their connection, there could be little signal bars, and it could be red, yellow, green, and whatnot, basically their ping. And if it's in the red, you could be no, I don't want to match this person. Or if they have that the cheater, because obviously they seem to be hesitant to permaban some accounts. They'll permaban people that are straight up using Game Guardian and hacking the game. But people that have found other exploits, they'll reset their account. But because they're spending money, I think they're hesitant to flat out permanently ban a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a hard decision to make,
users and stuff. So like branding those accounts with like the purple, like this person disconnects like all the time. Like let's put a little badge on his account so that you know that. And like, you could make those decisions based off of that information, the point spread, their rank, like you were talking about. Like if you're a rank 50 and you get that really weird queue up, you could just like, no, I don't want to queue against this person, like back out. I think that would be great. Like the disband button before the match starts. Like it shouldn't say too much information because then people will they'll just see someone that's like, oh, I know that's a Bebop, for example. I'm not playing him. I know
I don't like that it says the guild. I'm not a fan of that because then it's like, at least before when it was somebody, say you have a bad connection. Like I've had many times where it just drops. The game just closes itself. And then I get a tweet from somebody and they're like, yo, dog, why'd you DC on me? And it's like, if I didn't DC on you, man, like, come on, man. I said they're recording this. I didn't DC on you. But then it's like they see it's YouTube squad and they instantly know it's me. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't like that. Or they know it's one of us 30 who are in the YouTube squad. I don't like that much because I get it, but
like I always rock my own name, but I understand that other people value
I
that.
used to be Brad for like a year and a half, and it was, I mean, there's a million Brads and Bradicals, and I'm sure there's 10, 20, 50, 100, 5,000 Nasdorachis out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't like, I do and don't like it because I like the idea of when you actually fight somebody and they know it's you, and it's like, it was a good match, you had a nice fight with, hey, dude, this was dope, you're in the video, that's sick. But then whenever, like I said, I get a phone call from my mom or something, and it cuts the game out, or the game just randomly closes itself, or it was a horrible match and this person won, and then they can be like, "Yo, by the way, dog, why are you YouTuber, dog? I beat you." And it's like, yeah, because you matched both my rising rushes and you had horrible lag. You know what I mean? And then it used like that's where I don't like it. So it's back and forth. But
yeah, but I feel like
I forgot what we were saying to begin with. So
displaying a certain amount of information, like the connection.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I'm
Quality
fine.
of their connection and whether or not they have a badge as like an honorable or dishonorable player, and then a yes/no to match. I think that would be a really good option to add.
Like give you an option that says, "Do you want to play this person?"
Yeah, like disband, just like co-op, where you can disband if someone obviously brings like yellow Heart Virus Goku and you're fighting like red Super Saiyan 3 Go tanks or whatever.
Disband is amazing in co-op. It really is a good game.
Oh, yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and
I got so sick and tired of clicking on airplane mode. Let me tell you what.
yeah, I do the same thing. Basically, just jam out the Wi-Fi button on and off real quick. So it's like to have something similar to that. Like just at least specify the lag and whether or not the person has a high rate of disconnects. Like those two pieces of information would be enough, and then a disband or continue yes with the match button. And then a rematch feature. Like both of those two things would improve like quality of matchmaking dramatically.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just it's like I don't want to get to the point where the screen is loading and I don't see his bar loading, and then I'm like, oh, cool, he has a bad connection. Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those matches.
Yeah, but it's like, all right, cool, we're already here. Then I guess
like that would also help to a certain degree identify people that are doing it like on purpose, like the proverbial lag switch. Because if you like see someone that it displays they have like a perfect connection and you hit yes to match and then you get into the match and then all of a sudden it starts lagging when you're trying to attack, but it's fine when they're trying to attack, it's going to be like that much more like caught you red-handed level of evidence. Like, yo, like the game said your connection was perfect. Everything was perfect. You loaded up quick, and now all of a sudden you're lagging. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would help with that, at least to identify like people that are exploiting and doing it, maliciously.
I mean, honestly, even if it saved me like one match a day of like a super just lag-filled match, it'd be a positive. Because right now, you go in blind. You're just like, well, hopefully this guy doesn't. And sometimes it's like, yo, he's got a good internet connection, and I shouldn't be happy about that. Like, I shouldn't be like, yeah, I can play the game, dog.
Yeah,
like, that's how it feels. Like,
it should be rare when you have bad matches, but it's kind of flip flop. It's gotten to the point where I don't even really like to talk about it anymore because there's a certain group of people on Twitter that'll be like, "You always say it's because of lag when you lose," and
it's like it is like
where they're coming from because there are plenty of people out there that make excuses for shit. But it also it's like the game, like half of my matches lag. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, it's a known issue with this game. And it's like, I don't want to argue with them because I don't want to, make it seem like I'm getting defensive. But like, I'm like, I don't
Dude,
know.
I get hella defensive. Screw it, man. Like,
So I don't even talk about lag as often anymore because I know
it's not worth it. Because like back in the day, everybody kind of agreed with you. Like a year ago, everybody was like, "Yeah, I did a terrible lag." I get it. Now you say it, and you're like, "Well, I don't even experience lag in my game. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never even played in a laggy match." And
yeah,
it's like, yeah, all right, for sure.
Like, I'm like, well, I'm jealous of you because
yeah, no, legit. I wish I had that connection. Dude. I mean,
not
I
over
can tell
here,
you,
like-
somebody. I even used to play with Ethernet, and that was like, it didn't fix a thing.
Nope.
Like, it literally, it fixes nothing because I had an Ethernet port on my USB-C adapter, and yeah, I mean, it was, I guess, a little bit when you fight somebody like when I fought Goresh, when he very first made his channel, we made like a collab video, and when we fought each other and I had Ethernet, that was the best the game has ever felt that I've ever played. But that's
like
Goresh, like
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, to hammer your point, I mean, I've used Ethernet too, and the only time it really makes a difference is against people I know who have good internet connection.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I'm playing, like someone in the vicinity of me, or I know someone in the U.S. that I'm playing against. It's
if
like
you're
the
co-oping with
best thing.
somebody, you guys got to both be using Ethernet. That is when you get
that's a holy grail.
cleanest. Yeah, that's when it's good. But like I did that when I was playing with Zilch, and I mean we flew through 50 matches in like 35 minutes, and this was against like DKP. It was amazing. But then yeah, it's like you hop into PvP and it doesn't mean anything because the other person's internet connection is terrible. So the game is still trying to read theirs while putting your stuff in like right on the point. It's almost worse because your stuff is registered so quickly you don't even know what you did. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's also that huge aspect. Like a lot of those people, and I can't say this about all of them, but a good portion of those people that are like, "Oh, the game never lags for me." Well, I'm always like, "Well, where do you live?" Because I'm in America, and I always have to fight people that are in Brazil, and it's terrible. Like their internet there for that. And I'm not by no means talking poorly about Brazilian people, but your country's internet is awful.
The internet infrastructure is terrible.
Yeah,
that's just a fact.
Like their infrastructure for providing resources to the people of their country is terrible. Like Brazilian people.
Is that what ABR is?
Good match with a Brazilian person.
Is that ABR? Is that Brazilian?
ABR, and there's another one that's popular too that I forget the name of now.
Oh damn! I made fun of ABR a bunch because it was like I kept fighting people with that, so I started making funny names around what ABR might mean. Like a bitch, right? Like stuff like that. And it was like, well, damn, all right, well, my bad.
I don't know if D8M Plus is a Brazilian guild or not either. But there's quite a few of them. I mean, because like Hispanic people love Dragon Ball Z, and I'm right there with them. Like they're part of the family when it comes to appreciation of the series. But like for PvP fighting games, like God, no, it makes terrible.
Now I get why Goresh was complaining so much in the group chat about Brazilian people. I just kept seeing those messages and I was like, I don't think I even fight Brazilian people. But then I was like, ABR.
Yep. See someone in the chat confirm the D8M Plus. That's a Brazilian guild too. Because every time I fight those MFers, the connection is always awful.
Well, I mean, they are pretty far away. And on top of that, they have a bad infrastructure. It's just a perfect combination to have a bad day.
Oh, what do you guys think of that perfect or the powerful opponent tag?
I think
I like it. It's cool to bring a bunch of random units together, but
right now it's completely underutilized. Like you can't even really build around it because there's no synergy. But to look into the future, I'm sure that they're going to now build around this. Like right now, it's like the future tag when all we had was like red Zamasu and like yellow Perfect Cell and red Perfect Cell. It's like, well, okay, I see that characters have this tag, but there's no real synergy for it. Like there's no team you can run based around it. But now, 6-8 months later, we're almost at that point. I think it'll be very similar to that. Like basically it's mostly bad guys, but not all of them are like bad necessarily. Some of them are just rivals of Goku or literally like powerful opponent, but not a bad guy. Like I would fully expect like Jiren to end up on this tag, who is not a villain by the definition of like good and evil, but he's, not a hero either. He's an antagonist, not a protagonist. So I think it'll be an interesting tag once it gets support. And I
I
also
just don't know how long it'll be till it gets support. I mean, think about some of the teams are still heavily. If they pump it out, I'll like it. It'd be really cool if they pump it out fast. But
well, I thought like the timing of stuff right now has been definitely, I don't want to say questionable, but it's definitely been curious. Like, why did they add that tag right now, like 2 weeks before anniversary? Why did they do the tackle battle system 2.3 like right now in the middle of a PvP season, like before anniversary? Like, what are they planning? Like, is this just this all in my mind? It has to be like set up for things to come.
well, okay, so last year God Key, who was God Key before the Blues came out? Like, who was the main God Key? I don't even remember. Zamasu.
there was like the red God Q and the yellow God Vegeta.
Yeah.
And then they pretty much built that tag. So
Yeah.
I could see it totally be
those two and the Green Beerus, but the Green Beerus didn't have his legendary finish at the time. So it was like just those three. Those were like the original first 3 God Key units. And,
yeah, but I could totally see them building this powerful opponent tag using those units the same way. I don't know if they will. Hopefully they will, but it's also a very uniting tag.
Right now, there's a plethora of extremely good units that could fill on the tag, but there's no synergy for it.
Well, yeah, of course.
Like as soon as they get like, I don't know, at least like 3 characters that have a Z ability for powerful opponent that can share some type of team synergy, you could then just start filling with just OP characters from the list that might not necessarily boost the tag, but they'll fit on the team. Kind of like how the transforming Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan God, the blue Vegeta, like he doesn't fit on God Key because his Z abilities for like Vegeta family, but you could use him there anyway. He's a great fill character there if you need him. So I feel like this powerful opponent's tag will be a lot like that.
I could see it. We'll have to only see. I mean, the biggest problem with I always hate speculating. Because then when we speculate, I'm like, this is going to be sick. And then it's like not sick. And I'm like, nice. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Sweet.
yeah, great.
Sweet. Thanks, game.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's like,
They
oh,
went
cool.
back
That
and
would
added
exactly the opposite. Nice.
They went back and added this tag like retroactively, but looking to the future, I expect there to be a good amount of tags still to come in the game that aren't even in the game yet.
So.
Like Pride Troopers or Universe 11, an actual functional Universe 6 tag. Like, I'm sure there'll be a lot of teams that we haven't even seen, like maybe an actual Majin tag, not just Regen. Like, I'm sure there'll be plenty more tags coming in the future that we haven't even seen yet. So
yeah, it's something for Debura to even get on.
yeah, like he would be on there. You can have all the booze.
Once we get all the arcs established, we good. Like once we get Dragon Ball, like the DBZ Boo arc established, we can get the Cell Saga established, Namek Saga, Dragon Ball Saga. Once we get all those established, the meta's going to open up 1,000,000% because you can use whatever the heck you want on those tags. Then it's just look at the Namek Saga, for example. 2 of the extremes are like nearly impossible to pull. Only not impossible to pull, but extremes. You know what I mean? And they're the main key boosters of it. And Nail, yeah, they're the key boosters for that entire team. And I would argue pretty essential. Like, you're not going to run LF Frieza with Goku if you don't have those 2 guys at 6 stars plus Nail. That makes the team,
It's not even that EX units are that hard to pull because I get them all the time. It's just always the old crappy ones. I feel like they could alleviate a lot of problems with that by just having a more limited pool of newer EX units across like the banners. Because right now,
start cutting out the really old ones. I need to start cutting them out slowly.
Yeah,
Korea banner or something.
Having them rotate and be much more infrequent. Because if you go on the Kefla banner, like the step up we just had, you'll pull the old Android, and I mean the old one, not the good ones that are future tagged and good for the Android scene, but you'll pull the EX Red Android 17, and you'll pull the EX Green Android 18, and you'll pull Thouser all the time, the old ones, but you'd never see the new ones. I still don't have the new Fat Boo EX. I don't have the Android 13 or 14 M either, so it's I don't know. They could alleviate some of that problem by just changing.
The only issue I have is how many you got to pull of them. It's one thing for LFs to be an extended hey, whatever, but you still have to pull the same amount as a normal sparking, not a big deal. But when you start getting to when you got to pull like over double the amount to get the same kind of buff for some of these extremes, like I don't even know how the heck I got GT Kid Goku, the extreme one, to 6 stars before I even got Super Saiyan 3 to 4 stars, or Super Saiyan 4 to 4 stars. Like I've just pulled that little guy over and over and over and over and over again. And that doesn't normally happen. Same thing with like Nail and everything. But if they just chopped off like the one extreme per new banner that they release a new extreme, slowly start cycling it, it would make a world of difference. I don't need to pull them back to back to back to back. I don't mind waiting a little while to get a unit. That's fine. But I also don't want to wait. I just got Whis to 6 stars. I've spent nearly $10,000 on this game. I just got Whis to 10 stars. Like that, 6 stars. That says something. You know what I mean? That's crazy to me that we're coming up on the next anniversary after he came out. And I'm finally at a point where he doesn't even have a double buff, but it's like where it would be a double buff for a unit. I don't know. It's just wild. But then you have people who never spend any money at all, and they probably pull like every single extreme in LF. So it's just RNG. I don't know. I had some kid tweet me the other night, and he was like, "Whoa, back to back triple LFs on that 50% banner." It's like, that's dope. It's dope. Happy for you,
dude. On the happy. How many times has the happy weekend or the weekend thing been around?
Three full weekends, I do believe.
Was it full?
So
weekend?
That's been 9 plus 1 to yesterday's. So there's been 10 pulls, right? I pulled my first sparking yesterday. I pulled one sparking yesterday. Tech Golden Frieza. Green Golden Frieza. Green. Yeah,
tech,
not Tech. Yeah, I know. but I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, it's supposed to be 50%. I should have had at least 2 to 3 sparkings. It's still below the 50% threshold. Oh, what garbage. Oh, what garbage. And I'm going to rant again. The 20k CC limit, yeah, that needs to go. That needs to go. I'm trying to buy the sales, man.
But it doesn't really apply to the average person, so I don't know if they'll ever really address it.
Hey, if they want more money out of me, that's the first thing they got to do.
I don't agree with that, but they're gonna get your money either way. You just gotta wait a couple weeks, and then they can spread it out.
No, well, the problem is I want to buy the sales, I just can't because I can't buy any more.
I guess you gotta get spending, don't you?
I got. But there's better to spend on. Come on.
No, I get it.
I don't understand their logic behind that either. Do you know of any other mobile games that actually like, hey, whoa, no, you can't buy anymore. Like, you don't have to spend any more money.
Pokemon Masters is terrible about it.
Like, they limit you? They're like, no, you can't buy no more?
Yeah, and they're also split up between paid and free. At least they did when the game first dropped. They limited. They may not now.
That's a big thing that Dina Corp does, or DNA.
Yeah, that's a big thing that a lot of gacha games, not a lot, but a good chunk of them do. They differentiate paid and free. And they're sometimes, I don't know if Masters does this, but other gacha games, they give higher rates on paid gems than they do on free gem.
Yeah, no, yeah. There's so the daily on Masters, you have a 10% chance of getting the new unit, whereas you have a normal 2% chance. And the daily is only like 100 gems or whatever, but yeah, it's only paid for their dailies.
Yeah, that was a huge thing in Final Fantasy Record Keeper as well, which is made by Dina.
Evil people.
Yeah, DNA. Actually, I think it's pronounced DNA.
Yeah, it's DNA.
Yeah, they are a pretty evil company. Like they're single-handedly responsible for Kampu Gacha, which is like got illegalized in all of Japan because of them. But they were big on doing like the grindable currency and then have a separate currency, and you can only do the dailies with the paid currency. And I mean,
I'll tell you what, looking at the revenue, it ain't working out. I'm not sure why it's a thing. Like, if you just gave people a daily on that game, like, it'd be a game changer. I don't know if I'd ever spend on Masters to begin with, though. And I love Pokemon. I've been buying every damn Pokemon game. I don't know if I'd ever even spend on it, because it's just, I don't know, lackluster game.
Well, the thing about, back to Nasdorachi's question about, are there other games that do that, or gacha games? There are, like, limits set. You know, you could, like, you can't spend more. But that's kind of like self-imposed. Like, I think in Masters they do it. Like, you can't spend more than like, I don't know, $200 this month on
yeah, they have like a set amount you can spend.
And then like only like a certain amount of packs you can physically buy, and they're just all gone, or what?
No, it's like a like your data like if your mobile data, like, oh, you're about to hit your limit, the same kind of concept, like, you can set it at like 200-300 or whatever it is, and
Oh
if you
yeah,
meet.
if you go play, you can set a budget too.
Right, but some games, I think Masters does, and a few others, there's like actual in-game restrictions for that. And I think for Pokemon Masters in particular, it's really because of the IP is so kid friendly and the Gacha thing.
Well, and I get
so,
it, I do, and I
Yeah.
I thought the
makes
whole reason
sense.
for Legends was because of the whole people buying them and returning them to get the like the stone sellers that were selling them discounted. I
The
thought that was
vendors,
the reason
yeah.
they did that.
I think that's the reason why they did it in the past, was the people that would then buy to the cap. Those are people that they could single out.
Was there
and
a
then
previous no cap, or like was there a bigger cap before?
I don't think there was. I think this was the cap from the get go. I mean, I didn't play Legends too deep, or really spend too deep, like from the beginning of the game, so I can't tell you that personally. But as far as I know, there was never like the 20K cap has been there since the beginning. So
Chat, was there was it only 20% cap or 20,000 cap at the
Has
beginning?
always been the cap. You can
Has it?
continue to
Okay.
farm crystals like from
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
direct. Like if you directly get them, you can keep getting them, but you can't accept them from the gift box. You can't accept them as mission rewards, and you can't buy them.
You can't accept them from the gift box.
No, like it'll be
no, really?
How the hell do people build up to like 100,000?
Like, accept gift tickets when you're full. It'll be like, nah, fam, you can't take it.
No.
Do those sit in there indefinitely or what?
No, that's not the case, because I mean, I'm at 22,500 and I farmed other CC in the game, and it just goes towards it. You just can't buy
like
more.
If you beat an event and the stage is like, the 10 chrono crystals or whatever for doing all the challenges and whatnot, you'll still get that. And you'll still get like, if the Broly
They gave you like a gift one from like the survey or something. You would get that.
if it goes into the gift box, it won't let you accept it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You just
Yeah,
won't be
for
able
these kids who got like 100,000 crystals, like free to play, they're probably just chucking away like 20,000 to get that, huh? Over like a year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy up to the 20,000, but then you're screwed beyond that. Besides just playing the game to get them.
It is a weird rule. Like, just let me. It is a very funky rule, I will admit. Let me buy 20,000 for however long, not just indefinitely.
Yeah, like it again doesn't affect 99% of the player base. This is most of you guys didn't even know there was a cap to begin with. But for me, I'm like, guys, I'm trying to buy all your sales and get ready for the anniversary, and I'm stuck at 22K and I can't get more. So like, if there was a banner worthy to pull on, I would totally spend and then top up again. But there's nothing really that I want to spend on, so you're losing out on the extra $200-300 I would have given you for that before the anniversary. Sorry, guys.
I think so.
Yeah, no, you actually have a point, and it's not just whales either. Like that just goes on to like how dry the game has been right now. Like I actually threw like $30 at Marvel Puzzle Quest. I'm like, well, I have this extra $30. There's nothing to spend it on in Legends at all, and I really want this Thanos unit, so I guess I'm spending on another game this week for the first time in like 2 years.
Oh man, NPQ. I miss those days.
Huh?
I used to be a hardcore Marvel Puzzle Quest player, like top guild, all that stuff. Just can't do it anymore. It burnt the fuck out of me.
Just re-download it again. It's
Nah, well, I mean, the thing for me is that I'm a competitive player, and like to play really competitively, you gotta PvP around the clock every 8 hours, whatever the shields are, and then the PvE stuff. I know it's a lot better now than it was when I first played it, but it's still like, okay, my timer says 12 p.m. my time. I gotta schedule at least 11 a.m. to about 1 p.m. to just constantly grind the PvE. And I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, if you want particular rewards, that's why.
Right. If I'm talking top 1, top 2, maybe top 5 rewards. I'd always get those. But yeah, not worth it. But yeah, but for if you're doing it like a complete casual experience, it's actually really fun.
Yeah, I'm choosy about events that I grind on. If I see something that's like, oh, I want that character, then I'll place top 5 or top 1. I've done that like 2 or 3 times now in my bracket. But then there's like Luke Cage is out right now. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Luke Cage. I mean, no offense. I just don't really like the Heroes for Hire that much. So I was like, I don't care about any of these characters. So I'm just like, skip.
Yeah, but then you're missing out on the Deadpool daily events that require
You guys describing all
everything.
this is the reason I only play Legends now. And a little bit of I used to play like so many mobile games. I think about a time way back when I had like $0 in my bank account. I had like 70 cents. And I called my sister and I was like, yo, can you give me a gift card for this random ass fucking game I played on my iPhone? And she sent me $100 gift card to like iTunes. And I dropped it all that night and I got nothing. And I think back to times like that, and that's the reason I don't play anything else besides Legends. Like, I can't do it.
Poison, like upon the earth, it is poison. But I will speak that when everyone asks me like, what is my opinion on the whole of Gacha, I will say it's mostly nothing but toxicity and gambling trash. But with that being said, we have no alternative, and if you want to play the game, you just kind of have to accept that that's something that we have to deal with until enough people, like, you know, verbally are speaking out about it. And they like, I mean, I don't really know what to say more about that. Like,
did you see that game that they're releasing?
And play Legends and enjoy what you can enjoy about it, or you just don't play the game at all. And like, it's a shitty choice to have to make.
Do you guys see that game they're releasing? It's like a battle royale, but like everybody gets one free match a day, and then if you win your match, you can keep playing.
Oh, the calling and yeah.
What the idea? Fine, it's there. Whatever, bro. To pay 99 cents to play a goddamn game, I would just go play something. I literally have 300, 400 games behind me. I will go play something else than pay 99 cents for another match. And if you're that competitive, I just can't imagine. Well, the idea is there because it's called the calling. So you call out the people who can't win the matches. I understand, but
you just have people cheating, and you know they'll win. That's going to be a disaster.
Oh yeah, it's literally. Yeah. How are you expected to deal with all these people who are already cheating in like Call of Duty and stuff? Like, look at Warzone is literally a war zone. Like, I watch videos on all that stuff where it's like, there's so many crazy, aimbot, all these crazy amount of cheats because you start combining these two services. Microsoft can't interact with Sony. Sony can't interact with Microsoft. And you got PC just sitting over there. It's like the only kind of reliable one. I don't know, man. Like,
no, it's true. Like, and for a game like Warzone, it falls into an acceptable range where, like, yeah, when you're playing, you'll encounter someone that's cheating, like, you know, maybe every few hours or something like that. And you're like, oh, I lost that game because someone just cheated. Okay, that sucks, but I'll just play another one. But in that game that you just described, screw that. They'd be like, oh,
I paid 99 cents to jump in again.
Now I gotta pay to play.
Well, that's like think about Legends on the worst day. Oh my god, my internet is terrible. You get to play it complete. I was almost free to play on like the last couple banners, up until pretty much Broly, when I was like, fine, I'll go like 12,000 in. But I like 3 banners there. I nearly fully skipped them because I was like, whatever, dude. Like Trunks and Cell, I literally skipped that banner. I didn't spend a single crystal on it. I did 1,000. And I got Trunks off it. Dope. But, like, I literally didn't push any further. And the game felt no different to me at all. Any other game, like even Masters or something, like that game feels like terrible if you don't spend any kind of money. Pokemon Go. I can't hatch any kind of eggs or anything. That Final Fantasy game that I downloaded. Like, if you jump on and you read the chat, people are talking about spending $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to place the top 100 in some random fun. I can just go play Final Fantasy Tactics on my PSP. Like, I don't know. I'm so glad I dipped out of that, like, being addicted to every mobile game under the sun.
Well, the thing is, like, to qualify what gachas are for a lot of people, you got to make it akin to, like, MMOs, right? Because these are games as service. So, like, these games go on forever. And then the thing about mobile and gacha, the reason why they're so attractive to like people who like that kind of style is because there's always updates. Like Legends, it's kind of dry now, but with the anniversary's coming, there's something coming. There's always something coming up. There's always new content. Now, whether you can make the argument whether banners are content or whatever, but there's always something coming up. Like, oh, there's a new co-op quest. There's a new PvP season. There's something to do, and that's why, in order to create the kind of content, they need an influx of cash, and the best way to do it is through the gacha style of pulling for units or equipment or whatever, however they set their practices for whatever game you're playing. So for some people who equate a $60 game and then see the value of $60 for that, I mean, I get it monetarily speaking, but it's not on the same playing field because
I agree.
one
They're
is
totally different. I agree.
For example,
Right.
like God of War, like the developers developed that game, they're done, they released it, they sell it, they never have to really touch it again. But this
They
game
can, but they
requiring
don't have to.
constant attention, constant developmental just updates and tweaks and new content. So it's like they have to keep paying people to keep doing all this stuff.
Oh, dude, my main thing I was pointing out is that people give Legends so much crap, and it's like you can literally just jump in and play for free at any point. Like, there's a lot of games where you need to have specific. Like, look at Dokkan. Even you literally can't run events without some leaders. I like Dokkan for the most part. I just don't play it. I just don't have time to play it and whatever else. But it's still Dragon Ball. But it's like if you don't have a leader, there's some events you just are not running. That's just how it is. Like, you might have
Agreed.
the units, that's great, but like Legends, you can at least just kind of jump in and mess around. You can do anything. You clear most events with just in-game stuff, so on and so forth. So I don't know. Legends really isn't
where I
that
could
bad.
equate what you just said to Legends would be the PvE events where they have the boost units that requires you like the Frieza one where you had to have either the transforming Vegeta or the Goku, or else you were just like not doing it. But outside of that, for PvP, as long as you have a relevant team, you're good indefinitely on Legends. Like, you don't need to spend, as long as you have a team that you're really good with and you can place with, then you're fairly well off. So yeah, they definitely do get good points, props points for that.
Oh yeah, no, they get bashed so much for stuff that it's like lag and stuff. Yeah, I mean that really is something we need to fix, but it's not going to get fixed. It's been we're coming up on 2 years. Like we're just not going to fix it.
Thing that they could have done to be so much more guilty of all this bad stuff we're just talking about, like if those boost units transferred over into PvP, like thank God they didn't do that. Where
What
like,
do you mean?
this season, you know,
I feel you.
get a like 50% to all their stats and stuff, and if you summoned them, great, you can like win this season.
Mollywop people, yeah.
well,
They
so
could have
but here's the
easily
thing.
done that.
I would have liked that, but only limited to heroes and extreme units. Like, but make it like to spice up the meta. Like that would be cool per season, as in, hey, right now let's throw that purple extreme GT Goku, Kid Goku, as a boost unit, and you can use him. And then because he boosts GT, you'll see more prevalent GT teams now, which means, hey, maybe I need to work on my equipment for GT to like really take advantage.
They picked random. I wouldn't mind random old units even. They're like, hey, Super Saiyan Red Vegeta.
I agree.
80% buff to his strike attack or something like that. That'd be dope.
Yeah, but
cool. The point where it transfers over into toxicity is where like 4 out of 5 of the units on the list are brand new premium units.
Yeah,
of course.
I 100% agree with you that where it's like, hey guys, we just released the yellow Vegito, and yeah, we're gonna boost him, so even your 2-star Vegito can wreck a 14-star purple Super Vegito. Like,
yeah, they could have easily tapped into that, but
yeah. That would be bad. Like I agree with that, but I'm saying like
to units that were like 6 months old or older, then it would probably be a great system.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We could even make that akin somewhat to the old buff system. I think the buff system is 10 times better than Zenkai. I mean, I like the idea of Zenkai, and now it's getting a little better, but I still miss the old buffs for like certain units that everybody had. I mean, yeah, you're going to have that one kid that's like, I've never pulled him. Well, that sucks, Doug. Sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I almost didn't have Blue Cooler to Zenkai him as well, and I spent a lot of money on this game too. So it's like, it happens.
Yeah.
But good.
No, I was just going to say, like, this is a PvP game, and because Nasdorachi plays Marvel Puzzle Quest, he'll understand what I'm saying here. The thing is, it's also a hero collector, right? Like, you collect all these cards. Now, the only real way to effectively get a bunch to like use your entire box, like I think the guild, PvP battle or the dungeon system is going to help utilize that, because right now as it is, it's just like if you're a free-to-play player, all you need to do is focus on one team and only go hard and save everything and go hard on that banners or those banners that are related to the one team that you have, that you like to play and you know how to play. And you can still be pretty effective in PvP. Now, the one way to maximize the dollar here or turn free-to-play players to dolphins into whales is utilizing your box, your whole box, in the sense of boost extreme and heroes units for PvP, and the same thing with PvE. Like, you know, like the events like, oh, you got to use these specific units. It could be just a weekly rotation of, and this is where I'm talking about Marvel Puzzle Quest, is that's what they do. They say, all right, your 3 stars, here's like your boosted units to help do your events. And here's your 4 stars that do this, your 5s, and whatever. And they look at your whole box and you're like, oh man, cool. I have a really boosted like Kingpin. I'm going to use him. While here, you can be like, well, I got shafted and got a ton of this, you know, old red Super Saiyan Trunks, but hey, he's boosted 50%. I got him at 14 star. I might as well use him. So like, I don't know why they haven't implemented anything like that to maximize the hero collector portion of the game. That's what every other hero collectors does, is they have modes and encourage you to be like, you have to have a diverse roster to win.
Well, even
all that
Dokkan's
kind of
like
stuff.
that. I mean, yeah, it's like
They attempted that with the Ultra Space Time Rush, but now it's just gotten to the point where our rosters are so overwhelming that even that like doesn't require me to use but like 30-40% of my total roster to just auto farm.
I don't think I even touch 40%. I mean, if we're not counting heroes, I do. Like, you know, if they're just left out of the equation, because I mean, maybe 2 of them are like fun to use because it's like, oh, I gotta kill them, you know, and then they die in like 1 hit, fine. But I mean, I probably only touch 40 maximum, I would say, of my box.
No, I completely agree with that. Like, there's characters that are so dusty in my Legends box, like 10-year-old dust levels. Like, you'd be dusting them off and you'd be coughing and choking, like, because I've just never even considered remotely even needing to use them. But like your Marvel Puzzle Quest, like they do that. They do that really well in that game, because it'll be like very thematic. They'll be like an X-Men event, and like all of your X-Men characters will be like double levels of what they are, you know, actually in your character box. And it's like very specific stuff that could very easily translate over to Legends. Like if they have like a Goku Black event, well, like all those future characters from that saga would be boosted for that season or for that event. Or they could theme PvP instead of it just being like a number, like, oh, it's season 45, it's season 46, it's season 47. They could have little nonsense themes that go along with it that have like exactly what you're talking about attached to it. That could really, I don't know, provide more motivations, like you were talking about, than what we currently have.
Yeah, like the reason I suggest it is because for me, Dokkan's really fun because of team building, and team building in Legends is also fun in a different way, because you got to think of synergies, you got to think of like cover switches and counters and stuff like that. So like that is really fun, and theory crafting, that would be really cool, because you know, when you say, all right, we've got these 10 units that are buffed for this PvP season, but then they'll throw in, of that 10, like 5 are very obvious, like, okay, well, I'll run a GT theme, or I'm going to run a future team. But then there's going to be some random ones, and you'll be like, okay, how can I utilize these specific heroes to really counter that and make a new meta within the meta? You know, like that kind of stuff is really fun and interesting. And of course, that gives us as content creators a lot of stuff to talk about and, you know, theory craft and whatnot. But that's what I would like out of Legends, where I get to utilize my whole box. Like, it's stupid for me to have a 14-star like extreme unit that I never use. I want to use it, and I think that's one way they could force people to feel better about their box, regardless of what it is. And then it would kind of force the free-to-play players who do the thing that we suggest, like pick a team, like pick movies, summon on every damn movie banner to get a fully fleshed out movies team free to play that you can be competitive in PvP. Or if they theme it where, okay, well, this season's good for GT and this season's good for Super Saiyans and Fusions, your movies team is not going to be as competitive. Then if you still want to play the game and enjoy it, you're going to feel compelled to summon on those other banners for movies, GT or Super Saiyan or Fusion. So like, I mean, that sounds terrible for you guys, but like it would bring diversity to the playing field and then provide them a avenue to get more money out of it.
See, I don't want the teams. I wouldn't mind specific units. And like you guys said, give it age date. This unit's been out for at least a year. You know, at this point, we could say a year-old unit minimum And they could even ask us over on Twitter, who do you guys want this next season to have kind of buffs? If they did a whole team, I don't know, because then you just see that team. And we'll be going through what we're going through like right now. So if they gave a tag like Lineage of Evil.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't like a Lineage of Evil tag to get buffed for that season or whatever. That'd be terrible. Because then you got like Goresh. It's just gonna run around, just boom, smack everybody up, dude. Like, and it's like I kids who never summoned on that before just left out that entire season. So I would like more that if like a unit that everybody's gonna have. No, Turles. There's some kids out there you don't have Turles, I get it, whatever else. But it's like odds are somebody you probably
90% of them have it. Yeah.
And he gets a buff. You get a unit, even extremes, like you said, Salza. This season he's got a 50% buff to his strike attack, 30% buff to his HP, whatever else. That'd be super dope to go along with Zenkai Cooler's buff or whatever else. Then people who do want to summon for Zenkai Cooler, I can use Salza with him. He gets a boosted strike attack, gives Cooler more strike attack, whatever. All these fun shenanigans related to whatever's coming out. So new Super Saiyans are dropping. Like, pick some Super Saiyan units at random. Fisku from the Broly movie. He gets a buff this season. Bardock, whatever else. That would be super, super dope. But I don't know. Because then, does it really incentivize you to spend for the new units then that come out that season? Because the reason you summon is like, they're boost units in the PvP. You obviously want the units, but they're also going to be the best. And it's like, well, if you already have units that are really old, who are really good, why would you rely on getting those ones now? So I don't know.
Well, I think the system I was proposing is catered more towards the other average player that isn't a whale, right? Because everyone that is going to spend, they're going to get the new units. So like you can make this just a specific, like besides casual, like another game mode, besides your typical season of PvP. Like you can keep the season of PvP the way it is, and then attach another game mode in PvP for this, and give it different rewards. It doesn't have to be as good as the regular season, but it would give you an incentive to like theory craft and play with different teams on that end. So
comparing that to like even another popular game like Seven Deadly Sins has like geared and ungeared PvP.
Yeah.
And you'll find most of the whales are going to be in the geared PvP, and a lot of the more casual players probably would hang out in the ungeared PvP.
I mean, they tried that with casual, but casual is like
there's no point to play casual.
There's literally no purpose. You never even learn. I mean, I fight kids that have literally had like one game. They've literally fought like not even like they have like 0 good games or something. And it's like, all right, well, I mean, I just jumped in with my movies team, so I'm sorry, dog. It's like when I was trying to learn like charge step or something, and literally I was killing all their units in like 1 or 2 hits, and it's like, okay, well, this is pointless. I'd rather just go fight the stage 50 event that's out right now.
Yeah, casual matches is definitely a conundrum. It's not very useful.
Well, it could be. I mean, it definitely could be, but it's like
currently it's definitely
like you could use casual if you've at least hit rank 50 once or something. Then casual unlocks for you. That wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, Not just everybody can go in casual. First day playing the game, jump into some casual. It's like, well, okay. Like, maybe don't. I even have my second account, dude. I didn't even realize how hard it is to get a Legends account to the point that we have. Like, I have that second account, and I spent like a week working on it, grinding story, whatever else. And I only had like 1 unit at 5,000. And I was like, good Lord. Now, this is like 6 months ago at this point. There's a lot of ways.
I haven't my alternate account in quite a while.
Oh, yeah. I just gave up. I was like, well, what's the point of having a second account? Man, I'll just spend the money on my main one, whatever. Well, it's like, there's no point. I'm not going to log into it and be like, oh, let me fight myself in friend battle or something. It's like, no point.
Talon, you here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I guess we can just dive into questions. Just
All
kind of
right,
ramble
we
on.
can do that. I'm waiting for an opening, but you guys are like, okay, where's it going? Where's it going? All right. So we got one donation, and we can go to some Twitter questions and everything. So first question is ideal dual unit Goku and Vegeta with a green that swaps between them, and then in parentheses counter/cover change. Main ability that time transforms into Gogeta. Thoughts on that?
That'd be dope, of course. But that feels like the be-all, end-all kind of Gogeta card. That doesn't feel like that would just be some random unit. That feels like that would be like a legendary finish type unit.
I think they're talking about the anniversary, but I'm not sure though. They don't specify.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. That was I think that was Brian. He's a cool guy. No, what's it called? I don't know. Like I said, it feels like a be all end all. But then I say that, and then Dokkan did that, and then they gave us another one. So I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? Nothing's be all end all with these games. It's like nothing ever is. You'll just get another one rehashed. So yeah, it's dope, of course. Like yeah, I'm not gonna sit here. I hate Gogeta and I hate Goku and I hate Vegeta. Like no, it's like, that'd be sick. But it feels too crazy for a normal card. That would have to be like for sure an LF type thing, if not even like some tier above LF. Oh, I don't even want to think of that.
I don't know, man. 0.25% as is, that's pretty damn bad.
Well,
I don't
isn't
think
it
there's gonna ever
weird
be-
when you go through your box and you put it by rating? Because I always rarity. Because I always rate mine by rarity, and the LFs aren't. They're not in a separate spot. But it's like
Yeah.
they're rarer. Like I don't understand. Like I don't know. It's just weird to me, stuff like that. I was literally thinking about that today. Because you go through your box, it's like my most rare unit supposedly is Kid Gohan. All right, like for sure.
Okay, so Twitter question from Ryan: do you think an LF UI Sign Goku with Jiren and an LF Rage Trunks with Vegito Blue and Merge Zamasu is possible? That seems like there's just too many units there that they could like stretch out of like 4 celebrations to make a lot of money out of. So I think we're gonna get all of that eventually. I just don't think it's gonna come in this anniversary or in one event. So
Yeah, if they go overboard, if they do go overboard, it's going to be like a lot of vanilla versions of characters that we're going to see again. Like if they throw us like a Jiren and like a UI Goku, like it's going to be like the Rose. Like he's set up to the point where like, yeah, they're in the game. They're awesome units, but we know we're going to get like a transforming base form to Rose version of that unit again.
Yeah.
We know we're probably getting like a Legends Limited unit of him, or like that dual assist combo unit with Rose and Zamasu. So like they could release, that much hype stuff right now, but plan strongly for whatever they release now to be revisited again in the future. If it's something like that, like if it's UI Goku, it's definitely not going to be the only UI Goku we're going to get type situation.
Yeah.
right. No, it makes sense. I agree with you on that end.
We
Yeah,
got
I don't know.
another. Hang on, we got another donation question. So $5 super chat from Martinez. People keep crying about wanting LF Trunks or LF MUI. What about the strongest character in Dragon Ball, Yajirobe? I think he's worthy of an LF.
Yeah, maybe
I'd love a funny one. I'd be down for that.
They need to save that for the appropriately timed event where they could get away with something trolly like that. Like
April Fools.
It's probably mostly like a joke reply with a certain level of seriousness to it, but they could actually do something like that. It just has to be timed with like April Fool's Day or, something more basic.
Nah, the problem is there's so many characters that'd be funny for April Fools. Who did we get this year? Who was this year for April Fools? Anybody?
They just talked about the Goku and Piccolo.
The cart.
That's right, with the car.
Yeah, the go kart thing.
Funny, I guess. I don't know. Like, was that the Alola shirt or whatever for Shallot?
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah.
He gets the Goku shirt that he wears in that episode, or in that episode. I don't know. Whatever. It wasn't that entertaining, but they could release units like that. But I don't know, man. Like, you always got to bank on who they're going to release for money. Everything's monetary. And I think people forget that when they think at the end of the day, it's just a game. They got to make their money, but no, it's all money. Like it's straight up what's going to make them the most. Like Zenkai Cooler. Zenkai Cooler knocked it out of the park. Everybody wanted that. And then they were like, oh, you like Zenkai Cooler? He's Kefla. She kills him. And it's like, oh, nice. Like, that's how it is,
Okay. Next question I got here is: if we get a Jiren who buffs powerful opponents, you think they could inflate his Z ability to something like 50% plus double buff, since he'd be the sole buffer? That'd be a solution to make younger, smaller tags viable by making higher Z abilities.
Well, yeah, that's what they did with Golden Frieza, right? Golden Frieza was like one of the first to buff Lineage of Evil and Frieza Force. I mean, like, buff two separate teams with both attacks. And that came last anniversary. And then, he was like that's still a really, really good Z ability. Like, that's crazy. Give two separate teams that have a lot of shared units between them that kind of like linking ability. So, I mean, I could see it. Yeah, 100%. I could see Jiren being like Tournament of Power plus this powerful opponent or whatever, both attacks or strike attack and defense, and then the opposing LF or whatever else is going to be both defenses or blast attack and defense. I could totally see that.
Real quickly to follow up that little super chat donation, same guy Martinez says Yajirobe is step up worthy.
I mean, he did live through Goku Black. Like, that does say something.
That does say something right there. So
he wasn't there just for no reason, I guess. Like,
I mean, the only way that would ever actually work is if they had a what's it called? Like tickets that you could farm for him.
dude, they
think
need
that would be
more fun free units like that. Like, I want that. Everybody wants that. Just these units that mean nothing in PvP, but you just farm them up. Like, they mean literally nothing. Like Baseball Yamcha, even when you could use him, he didn't mean anything. Nobody was like, I can't wait to jump in and send those baseballs back. Nobody was. Like, it was
pure collector, just nonsense unit.
We need more nonsense, bro. Like, we don't need these units to be viable. Like, Hercule's not viable. It's viable because of different things, but
yeah, like trophy cards, right? So we need those.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next question: should Legends have the equivalent of like 1,000-day Goku and Dokkan? And if so, what should it be? So, like, if you logged in, Legends is what day are you guys at now?
731, right?
31. So 1 day past legit 2 years.
So, let's say for 1,000 days, they decided to give you like a
Zenkai
LF,
for
like-
that blue Goku. That'd be dope, dude. That blue spirit.
Yeah, I would be totally behind that.
Let me have that.
I mean, they already kind of do that by handing out titles to like #1 in PvP and stuff, and that's something that is exclusive to them. Or like Shallot's.
Oh, I'm at 750 days, 746. Oh, are you on iPhone?
Goku, Mr. Satan costume that only Milcool has. So doing other type of trophy stuff would be great, like to reward loyal long-term players.
I don't even know how much titles really matter though, dude. Like, you guys notice sometimes when you do like even like co-op, you'll use a Rising Rush. For some reason, your Rising Rush does like 8% damage. And it's like, what is this? Why is this all of a sudden doing nothing? And then, like, when I did that video testing out titles, took all the titles off, I did more damage without my titles on. And I was like, okay, so what's the point in this? It was like, so I have no idea how to do that stuff. I get what you're saying, though. Like, it totally, that's the whole purpose of it. It's just, I'd be down. Give me something in 1,000 days. Can I have something at 3,000 hours I spent on the game, too? I'm at like 2,500 or something. I don't know.
This is a good question. To those who play both Dokkan and Legends, what do you prefer, the leader skill system in Dokkan or the Z ability system of Legends?
I don't play Dokkan anymore, but I'm familiar with it enough to answer this question, and I would definitely say I think that Legends gets the win in that regard.
Same.
Because the leader system in Dokkan, I mean, it's good, but the way that it's tied into the friend system is, I hate that about Dokkan.
Like,
You have to have a unit. You have to have one unit to run a team. It's gotten better now. There you have sub leaders and that kind of stuff, and that's cool and whatever else. But for the most part, you don't have that main leader. I mean, oops. Like, I guess you're not running that team. You know.
I
And then not only that, but then it makes teams really weird because generally, like, when you are running that team, you're looking for a friend who's running the exact same character. So you're running two of the same character on the team, and it's designed to be that way.
Yeah. I think
it's a little weird. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say
I
it's
think-
a bad system. I just like it less.
Yeah. I would say, as someone who's mainly a Dokkan guy, I do agree actually that solely because of the friend system, that the Z ability is above the leader skill in some regards for me. However, I will say though that I don't know if this is me personally, or maybe it's just, the opponents I've ran to online and everything. I feel like the Z abilities are either they go one of two ways. They either go into complete whale territory where you have to get 6-star to finally get that, reliable buff, or like even on Legends limited cards, you have to get just even
3-star
one
for the
copy
double
of
buff.
the 3-star to get the double buff, which can make or sometimes really make or break a unit sometimes, or really make a difference, I should say, maybe on the teams. And then on the other side, I feel like sometimes some of these Z abilities don't do anything, because I've run into teams before sometimes where they look like the most random teams. Like, have you guys ever run into teams where it's like, half fusions and then the other half is like Lineage of Evil, or Frieza Force or something like that? You'll run into those particular teams.
Yeah.
And somehow they are still doing crazy amounts of damage, just neutral typing, when I've got a full team that should be buffing everything.
This. Yeah, no, I feel you 100%.
And so again, maybe that's just me that I've run into a lot of times, but I feel like it's almost like the Z abilities are worthless half the time. So, but at the same time, you get those big buffs from 6-star or Legends limited 3-star or anything like that. So it's just like I don't know what they're trying to do with that personally. So,
well, there's definitely times where it feels arbitrary.
Yeah,
where it's just kind of like, is there? So I've run teams before where I'll do exactly that thing where I use a team, like say God Key, and I have a pretty stacked God Key team. Everybody's like 7 stars and up. On the main one, I boost both attacks multiple times, whatever, HP and crit, and then whatever. And then like the other night, I ran a team, like it does okay, I hit 3 million with Rising Rush, whatever, a little bit of problems. But I ran a team that had like, it was Bardock, EX Broly, and DBS Broly, just for like, whatever, just messing around with the team. And I was literally almost one-shotting units. And I'm sitting there thinking like, yeah, these are good buffs. But compared to covering both of your attacks, both of your defenses, plus crit twice, this team should not be putting up this kind of numbers. So there's times where it's definitely arbitrary. It's like, you definitely don't need to chase the double stars. I think when double stars got announced, everybody thought how essential they were going to be. And they definitely can be at very high levels of PvP. You need that extra little bit of percentage for sure. I mean, if you're going for top 100, top 200, you fight a Zenkai 7 cooler or whatever, who he's not, yours is 7 stars, the other guy's is 14 stars. That makes a difference, right? That high up. But for standard gameplay, no, there's not that much of a difference. Maybe you do 30,000 more attack or something, But I think,
to piggyback and be on the other side of Nasdorachi's opinion, the thing about it is you only need one card you need to pull the one card for the leader skill. While the Z ability system requires you to pull at least 6 and then have multiple copies of those cards to kind of boost each other up.
Yeah.
So you could make the argument that the Dokkan version is more free-to-play friendly versus the Legends ones, not so much. But then again, Legends
free-to-play friendly compared to it in general. I mean, you only need 4 or 5 to max them out in general compared to 17.
Right. Well, yeah. That's what you got to pull. In terms of like pulling the units, yeah. But you just got to pull the one card to run the leader skill, which I agree. And the terrible part is then you're usually finding another person who has the same card because of the same leader skill, all that stuff. So team composition's all a little wacky on that regard. But I personally think the Z ability is more fun for team building. It's just not. Like for me, I don't care because I'll buy and get cards and get them all. But for like a free-to-play player, it's just not as cohesive to build a team right away. You just maybe missing a few dupes, or you might be missing the card itself to get that Z ability to buff the team.
Well, here,
While in Dokkan, you just got to pull the one card.
What you're saying? So he says you just pulled them once and that's it. No, he's not saying you pulled them once and you had that unit maxed out. No, of course I think Nolar knows that. He said you get that you get that ability then, like you get that leader skill.
Oh, you get the leader skill. Yeah.
That unit, you don't have to power the leader skill. Like, yeah. Then say you already have a bunch of units that fit on that team that are kind of older and they're not the best, but you get that really good leader skill, you can run that team now. So
yeah, that's what I mean.
There's a lot of pros and cons both ways. I mean, you could argue that I think they're set up to not interact with each other. I think that's Dokkan was a thing. They established what they wanted. And then I think when Legends came out, they were like, look, we can't encroach on Dokkan stuff. We can't act like it's the same thing, but it's got to be different, but it can't be bad. And they did a good job separating. They don't feel at all similar. And they also don't feel like one is better than the other, one is worse than the other. You can make arguments both ways,
Yeah.
Hello?
Well, hey,
Better
Hello.
late than never, they say.
Yeah, I know. I was like, do I even bother? Should I even show up, or are they about to wrap it up?
I've seen your name pop up so many times in chat. It's best you pop in.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello everybody.
And
I'm
we
sorry
kind
for
of
being late.
stalled on two of the topics. We haven't talked about Super Saiyan God Shallot yet, and we haven't talked about the tackle adjustment yet.
To be fair, I mean, God Shallot, the most viable form already passed. Who cares?
We'll see.
Yeah, well, in the spirit of that, I think that they're going to make each form different now. Not all of them are going to be consistently better, just different.
I feel like they're gonna go back and forth. They're gonna make one of them be this hyper offensive variant for Shallot, whereas the next one is gonna be a supportive unit. I think he's gonna become a God Key buffer, kind of like how the Super Saiyan 2 form was. I think he's gonna take the place of Whis.
I'm okay with that.
I think that's what he's gonna do because I don't know. It just seems like they're gonna go back and forth with it. Super Saiyan 1 was like that. Super Saiyan 2 had supportive capabilities. Super Saiyan 3 was this hyper offensive unit. Super Saiyan God kind of sounds like they said he's a balanced unit, but I think he's going to be an example of a unit with supportive capabilities for God Key, and they could use it.
His
I agree, yeah, they need it,
likely still just be Saiyans.
Well, majority of the God Key lineup is Saiyans, anyways.
Gonna maintain that too. I don't see that changing. You might have the occasional Whis or beers that come in. And I don't think Zenkai beers are ever gonna get really replaced, but I don't think he really needs the buff either.
Yeah, I just think that hopefully their plans for Shallot are now going to be focused around customization, where they're going to give people different reasons to run different builds without just making every new thing that comes out for him just flat out better than the previous option. That's what I hope anyway. Like giving this one the balanced with no time limit. The offensive power might not be as high, but he's better for supporting and utility. Then you run the Super Saiyan 3 one if you want offense. And then maybe Super Saiyan 4 will be all based around nuking, where his attacks really aren't that powerful, like Blast and Strike, but he's got ridiculously high special move damage potential. Or maybe one form will give him access to ultimate arts that he could swap out, or I don't know.
Do you guys want if you could play around with like his unique abilities and stuff?
Yes, I would love that.
Unique cards and ultimate arts, I think, would be great.
My hope at one point was that Shallot's Z ability could be customizable, and now it seems kind of silly, but my hope was that, like, imagine you have just 5 units for a certain tag. Shallot could just be a temporary filler for that 6th. So if you have, let's say you have 5 units for an LOE team, I know it sounds a little ridiculous, but let Shallot be a filler for the 6th slot just on the bench.
Even if
you could slap on LOE, max HP 13% or something. Just do that, but let it work for any tag. Let him at least be viable on anything. I would have liked that. Let him be a filler.
I mean, he really, honestly, with how strong Super Saiyan 3 is, he's viable on anything as it is. But I get what you're saying, though. But
yeah,
I mean,
it would have been nice.
You could just chuck him anywhere, and he's good. Like,
yeah. For the players that don't have like infinite amounts of CC, if they're unfortunate and they don't get that opportunity to, make the complete team, and they're just missing one guy, because I'm sure we all see the comments where people are saying, "I have almost everyone. I'm missing one guy." It would have been nice to be like, "Hey, no problem,
guy, bro. That's me."
It's like, hey, no problem. Throw that guy in there, and then you got this temporary filler for the 6th guy until you get someone that could replace him. I would have liked that out of Shallot. It would have been nice because it would have fit the whole customizable theme, right? Like, let Shallot work everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, well, they've gotten a lot better. Think about how limited he was. Like,
oh yeah,
he Shallot until like the second Super Saiyan 3 dropped. I remember we were all like, "Oh wow, great! Hopefully he got better." And then we looked at his stats, and it was like, "Wait, wait, he just jumped to top 5 overnight."
Literally went from 0 to hero.
Yeah, he was. Well, I mean, hero to hero, but I feel you, dude. He was. I don't know. That really, he is the perfect sign to me that Legends at least gives a crap. Him and Zenkai Kid Goku, that they at least give a crap. That it's like they want you to have some stuff, you know.
I'm shocked at how many people sleep on that guy. He is top 5 units in the game, Kid Goku. He's ridiculous.
Dude, people
he does everything.
I used him the other day when I used him with Kefla and Kakarot. Kakarot's 14 stars too. And I got like 10 or 12 comments that were like, oh God, why are you using Kid Goku? And it's like, do you not understand? Like, he is ridiculous.
He is
Endurance,
top 5 best
damage.
unit.
Yeah, he's absolutely in the top 5. I don't think it's even questionable.
He does everything. That guy is the perfect example of a Z tier unit that does everything. He supports.
And they gave him to you. They were like, you just have him.
Tons of ridiculous stats, hyper offensive. He has basically every best passive of all the different types. The best thing out of support, giving key and damage. Best thing out of defense, having a second life. Best thing out of offensive, does more damage when he comes in, increased card draw speed. Cherry on top is the dude has an ultimate. Like, he does literally everything. He is one of the best units in the game, no doubt.
And he will be for a long time too, because he's a Saiyan and he's Goku.
Yeah, he's not. It's going to be very difficult to find a yellow Saiyan to replace his slot. It'll be very difficult. That kid is ridiculously good.
No, I 100% agree. Like, I don't know, man. And if they give us even one of those every like 2 months, people really can't complain anymore. Like, I understand there's a whole lot of stuff we want to fix and needs to be changed and free to play and da 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 da. So you get 1 or 2 of those even like every 6 months, you can't be mad. Like, you really can't be mad. They do a lot. I don't know.
I think they're gonna Zenkai Awaken the Trunks, Legends Road Trunks, as part of the anniversary, because in the odd chance that it's not future themed, future needs a new blue as the hybrid.
That, dude, he might become the best unit in the game.
And I think I think he'll be the next. Well, he was the second Legends Road unit, but I think him getting a Zenkai Awakening just satisfies so many things. Hybrids gets a new blue, Future gets a new blue, Legends Road gets bumped up, gives something for free to play players to do. I think he would get it. I could see it 100%.
No, I agree too. I mean, okay, so I think Legends Road would become the best team.
Oh, no doubt. I think they're going to be the best team at the game.
You could run yellow, blue then.
Extremely competitive when they have multiple Zenkai units.
And it'll be great. I like that.
Zenkai abilities
it's the team for the game, yeah.
Yeah, their Zenkai abilities not restricted to tag and color. It's just tag. Like,
it is wild, dude. We all forget how good that is. Like,
only buffs LOE and blue units, which right now is pretty much like the blue pod Frieza, realistically. But the Legends Road Goku just says buffs all Legends Road units. So it's like all of them, no matter what color, are going to be sharing that 6-way, really OP set of buffs.
See, to me, that tells me they wouldn't give that Trunks then. So I agree that that's dope, and I'd love that, and I want it. But imagine 2 of those units on one team.
No, imagine 6 of them.
I can't even imagine that. That's like that's Ginyu Force on like crack, and Ginyu Force ain't even bad. Like,
yeah, I think it's gonna happen eventually.
Be well past.
I could see eventually when we got a big power creep, but I mean, what kind of goddamn power creep we talking about here? If we're talking a unit, these units would have 120% to like all of their stats.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. They'll be the best team in the game when they all Zenkai Awakening, just because of that Zenkai ability.
Why would you summon? I would never summon again. Every video would be me like, all right, today we're using Trunks again.
Today we're doing this time I use no green cards.
Well, yeah, this time I use no green cards. I won't click strike even once. Don't worry. It's like
you say that now, but that gives you an indication of where the developers' minds might be at for power creep in the future.
I can't even fathom. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have pictured units like Gohan when the game dropped. Like,
what do you think everything else that's going to be coming out brand new is going to look like? Like everything that comes out, even like the not hype stuff, will have to be on like Majin 21 level or higher.
Well, I think Vegito was the start of the next power creep, like Yellow Vegito and then Kefla. That's the next start of the power creep.
It's clear where the path is going. It's just going to be these. My issue with Legends is they have their idea of balance isn't to just like, okay, like if you know how in the V-Jump they have like this their diagram shows, you know, where one character leans more towards one certain trait or whatever. Like if we imagine that in terms of balance, Legends always just goes super hard one way, and then when people complain like, hey, you went too far there, they're just like, all right, let's just do the complete opposite but go super hard. They don't balance it out. So when we complained about, everyone is dying too quick, they just went crazy with defensive units. And then when we said, hey, matches are too long, too much defense, they just went with super hyper offensive units, which is where we are right now. We're getting all these units that pop in with increased card draw speed. They do more damage per card they use. It all feeds into like these super fast rising rushes, which is what everyone is getting upset about. And I can already see that a lot of the units are going down that path, but we're gonna swing back to hyper defensive units, and I can already see it. It's going to be units that when they pop in, you're going to lose key and your card draw speed is going to go down. Maybe your cost is going to go up too. I feel like they're going to do that again, because the issue that they make when they swing one way, then they just make a direct counter to it super hard. So increase card cost, reduce your key, reduce your card draw speed. That's what I'm going to see when they start going crazy with defensive units. I'm already calling it. I already see it.
I mean, I don't think there's a way you can balance this game without getting people to summon.
The thing is,
going to summon for a unit that can't destroy the meta. Like, well, I agree with you 100%. But like, look at Kefla. Who would get Kefla before the anniversary? Obviously, you got your little weebs and whatever else, fine. But they're always going to get Kefla. It doesn't matter. Like people like Goku.
People were super hyped
I want
her.
Kefla. Yeah, but it's like if she sucked or she was just on par, that's going to kill a lot of it. But seeing how busted she is, and we all make our videos saying, "Whoa, she is ridiculous," and it's like, that's going to push people to be like, well, maybe that's an actual straw over there. Where it's like, if she was just okay, like Gotenks, if he wasn't good, he wasn't bad, he was just right down the middle, would you really go for it? So, I don't know, man. I don't think we're ever going to see a change to that. You're always going to see that giant swing.
She just didn't need the 25% strike tag. Like,
I agree. She can have the feint, whatever, fine. But boosting on all those attacks on top of card draw speed,
that made no sense. Did they not look at it?
Fine, like
it doesn't make any sense. Okay, we're gonna make her strike cards cost basically nothing. We're gonna make her draw more cards quicker. All her blast cards turn into strike cards, and she does more damage per card.
And she can feint you after all of it. Like, so if you happen to be purple Vegito, you could still get fainted.
The thing that irritates me the most about facing her, though, is not all of that, but the fact that she heals when a certain percentage of the damage that you do. I can't tell you the amount of times where I've lost a game where it'll be like 1-on-1 against Kefla, and I'll go for my Rising Rush, and sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm okay. She'll be at 1 health. No, she heals 20% of my Rising Rush damage. So she's back at like half health. It's like, oh, what the hell? Now it's a problem. I'm gonna lose.
She pops one green card, and then it's like, oh, great, nice.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. 20% of Rising Rush damage in the late game. She's basically back to half health, and then you're like, well, damn. Now I gotta melt her again. But I mean, if I make one mistake, I lost. Because Kefla just. Even purple units. My Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I've seen him go down to half health from a combo from Kefla. And this is a guy with 35% sustained damage cut and type advantage. Like, what the hell, man?
No, dude, you want to talk about a unit that we talk about Kid Goku and everything? Kefla literally does everything. The only thing she doesn't do is paralyze. That's it. Like, I can't think of it. She heals. She increases her amount of damage. She gives you faster card draw speed. She has an ultimate. She increases her key with that ultimate. Like, it's just everything, dude. Like, What's the second? If you dodge wrong when you're fighting Kefla at the very beginning, like if she goes for, well, you don't see tackles anymore, but when you saw tackles, if you wait for your strike, you're golden. Knock her back. She goes down relatively easy. You get in the right units. She might swap out, whatever else. God forbid you swipe to the right and she starts her combo. That unit's gone. Unless you got purple Vegito, he's probably gone.
Yeah, one mistake against a Kefla, you're screwed. The issue is if you make two. If you're really unlucky,
you get through one, it happens. But
yeah, if you're unlucky, I'm not kidding when I say I have gotten Rising Rush in the first 10 timer counts many times. I've shared it. I got Rising Rush twice in less than 20 timer counts. I shared the video. That's how unlucky I am against these damn Rising Rushes. But without fail, every time I face a Fusions team, if I lose priority twice against the Kefla, I know one or two things are going to happen. One, someone's going to get beaten down until they die because Kefla's already gotten her ultimate. Or two, they have a Rising Rush already. So I probably lost someone already. And that is what's frustrating for me right now in the meta. It's just too irritating to deal with because you just sit there and you just watch Kefla swing to the side and then just come at you full speed, beat the crap out of you, sidestep, beat the crap out of you, sidestep. Because you know it's going to go on for like 6 or 7 cards. You're like, oh, damn it. Okay,
dude,
fine.
Even 2-star Keflas, dude. I have a 14-star kid Goku. And she legitimately, in like a combo and a half, got him down to his endurance. And it was like a 2-star Kefla. And it's like, this is insane.
She's really good.
Insane.
Yeah. So the thing is, what's even crazier though is playing with her for a while and playing against her for a while. I want to say she's Z tier, but I can't give it to her because Z tier should be reserved for units that have absolutely no flaws. And her biggest flaw is she's like a wet newspaper. She gets folded in really easy. It doesn't take much to kill her. Like if you die to one ultimate, then you're probably not worthy of Z tier. But it's just this game is just so easy to make mistakes. And with this meta of like units that are just so offensive, hyper offensive powerhouses, you can't afford to make mistakes. So it just piles on to the frustration because one little thing can cost you everything. If you're impatient, like let's say your opponent goes in for a tackle and you sidestep, you wait for them. You're like, all right, you gonna sidestep? Let's say they don't and they attack you. Well, you know that mistake is going to cost you a unit, or you're going to get fainted, or you're going to get rising rushed. That's the annoying thing with dealing with fusions right now is you know that whatever team you got, it doesn't matter because your opponent's mistake will not cost them as much as the mistake you make, unless you're running fusions as well, if that makes sense. So if you screw up, it's going to cost you dearly because of Kefla. If they screw up, they could probably get away with it because you're not going to hurt them that bad. Because what? They probably have a Gotenks that's super tanky, or they have Super Vegito that catches you in a strike card, or Kefla's probably going to heal a little bit of it, or whatever.
I mean, if my opponent makes a mistake and I got Kefla, I mean, you can kind of kiss that. Like if they accidentally swap in the wrong unit or something, or they think they're going to lose their purple Vegito and they swap in a blue unit to tank it or something. I mean, they make a mistake that way. Kefla is normally going to clean up. But I see what you're saying, though. It's just the meta's been that way since Gohan came out, though. Like, it really has been this, like, Boo was the one divider in the middle of all that. I feel like that was just this unit that could live anything. And even now, he's got trouble surviving in the meta. Like, it's crazy. I don't know.
We have another donation when you guys are ready.
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
You can always jump in, dude. You'd be like, "Yo,
you guys are going hardcore at it. I don't want to disturb you, man. You guys are going at it. All right. Another question though. Do you guys ever think we're gonna get a unit that only buffs during PvP, like that can only be used in PvP to actually be useful?
I don't know. Like they've made some comments in the past that somewhat allude to stuff like this being around, but they've never actually acted on it. And specifically the comment I was talking about was like Toshi saying that they were going to develop units that were like specifically designed with co-op in mind. And like you saw like a very little bit of that on the Broly Chilai assist unit. Like he has some passive that like helps your buddy in co-op and stuff like that. But other than that, we haven't seen too much of a mode specific style of units yet. But it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility for sure.
Yeah, I think it's got a chance to happen. Maybe not to the extent though that some people are thinking, like, if you have him in PvP, holy crap, he's like auto win for you, obviously, and then everything else he's garbage. I doubt it'll be anything like that, but I could definitely see like maybe some kind of hidden little ability that maybe someone doesn't see at the very bottom of the card, and it says like, oh, by the way, if you run him in PvP, you get draw card speed for like 2 seconds when you swap in, or when your ally swaps in, or something like that. Something similar. You could definitely use
I don't know. I mean, I get what you guys. It's not like it'd be like some horrendous thing, but then you're just placing such a restriction on that. I guess it's not a restriction now because you can still use them. I don't know, man.
It'd be hard.
It could be bad, it could be good. Yeah, it could be either way.
All right. I think we've pretty much hit all the details we want to talk about today. I mean, obviously, there's always tons of questions and we've always got the week after and Twitter and our own videos and everything. But do we want to wrap it up here?
Just have we addressed all the tackle stuff yet? That's the only thing I don't think that.
Yeah, I guess tackle would be the last thing to go over real quick then. I think I've been seeing people complain about it, but at the same time, I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers and everything say they actually don't mind the change. Give us your impressions, guys.
So for me, I agree that tackle step needed to be changed because, really locking in your opponent in this infinite step was a problem. Forcing a move so easily is really bad because it just banks more on you having priority all that much more. But the way that they went about it, I don't like because it absolutely killed the flow of PvP. So I'm one of the guys that like to string actions together to keep this sort of fluidity going when I play. But if you weasel in a tackle now and it's like throwing a brick in a river, just bloop, it just stops, just dead in the water. And I don't like that. I don't like this total interrupt. I feel like they could have done it better. I feel like this was like a temporary measure for something better. My hope is that's what it was. My hope is that they're like, all right, this is a really pressing problem that people are having and they're very vocal about it. So how about we throw this quick fix that at least stops this and then we'll come up with a better solution later. Because as of right now, and a lot of people have been vocal to me in saying the same thing, and that they're not a fan of how disruptive it is. PvP feels very clunky because you do your little combo and then just pop dead. That's it. Just flat out, nothing keeps going. And then it's a little irritating because stringing in tackles was useful for dragging on or draining the clock, which was a good counter to lock-in units. But without it now, lock-in units got even stronger, and lock-in was already one of the best mechanics in the game. So I feel like it was a change that didn't have a lot of thought into it. It was obvious that tackle step was a problem, but this wasn't the most ideal solution for me. That's what I feel.
Well, I have to cut it in real quick because I actually have to leave, but I want to give you the quick little 2 cents on it. I mean, I like it overall, but I agree with you. I don't like it just boom, cut your entire thing, because that may just because it still forces a habit for me to like just click tackle. But it does just like stop that combo, and it gives them immediate priority to like attack you. And it's like, you may as well just take and tackle out and find something else to replace it with.
Yeah.
I don't know. At that point, it's just...
It would have been a lot less harsh and a lot less abrupt if the tackle knocked them all the way back to long range. They didn't just
and then
stop
they had to recover.
mid-range.
Yeah. Dude, it just cuts it. It's great. Like when I did that first night, and like, yeah, I mean, I saw a couple things going on. Oh, you could probably play around that, and this person's going to attack you. Then you swipe, and it's like, that just doesn't, it's not, I agree with you. It's not the same kind of fluidity. It's nice when you have that combo moving and it's chaining and it feels good and you're doing different things and you're maintaining thoughts about where's going what. That's cool. With this, you make that one little tiny, I accidentally tackled when I was trying to throw a key blast or whatever else, or like the card didn't register and I accidentally tackled through it or so on and so forth. And it just, boom, cuts it and you're done. And like you're fighting Kefla or something and you don't swipe at the right time after that, you've now lost that unit like you said before. So I'm in the middle. I think it'll be okay in the long term, but there's just something about PvP that just doesn't have that same quality it had like a year ago. And I don't know if they're going to get back to that without just going back to that. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think they're ever going to go back to it. They want to keep changing it. And I'm fine with changes, but make changes. Don't just add something and then take it away and then add. I mean, they didn't take tackle away, but it doesn't. There's 1 out of 1,000,000 times you're going to want to tackle now where it's beneficial. 1 out of 100 times, whatever, where it's like, that's really a good action to do is to tackle right now. And the fact that it's still in the game, it's like you can just do it on accident so many times now. And it's just a negative 9 out of 10 times. Either way, I have to dip out, but I'll give it a 5 out of 10 on the change. I don't hate it. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for coming through. I'm sorry for dipping.
Nah, it's all good, man. All right, take it
See
easy.
you guys around, all right?
All right.
You too. So, love you guys.
Any other
Any other
thoughts on the tackle, guys?
I agree. It seems like it's kind of just a band-aid. Like, it's an oddly timed. Like, Raiyuden wasn't in here when I said this earlier, but like, why they just did this all of a sudden in the middle of a PvP season, I don't really know. But ultimately, like most of them were saying, it replaces one type of forced guessing game with another. So really one problem is just replaced by another. Before, with the tackle spam, people could just sidestep tackle, and you'd be locked in that until you either decided to vanish, right? Basically was your only option, or you could use a red card and force them to vanish. Like those are the only two choices you had, which then forces a setup of a guessing game of to like, are they going to sidestep an I strike card? Or are they going to immediately attack? But it just forced a guessing game. So by taking out the ability to basically spam out the tackle nonstop, now there's just a guessing game in a different way. And it really just, they solved one problem and created another at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it does need a more permanent addressing in the long term. I do agree, like with Raiyuden, that like it's really just a band-aid, and it's not as effective as I think they would have liked it to be.
My hope is that the anniversary comes with more, but I also think the reason why they decided to give it now was, I think, what was it, last year, where they kind of just dumped a whole bunch of changes at once. And I guess people were a little bit overwhelmed because we got a combat change, star system change, a bunch of different things all at once. So I guess they wanted to feed this one thing in a little bit at a time. My hope is that, I don't know if it's them testing the waters with this change, but my hope is that the anniversary comes with more changes. So that little live stream that we're getting on the 26th, my hope, it was the 26th, right?
Yeah, it's 26.
Is the Tuesday?
Days,
Yeah, it's basically 2 days from now.
Yeah, my hope is that they're going to demonstrate some new combat changes, maybe a new mechanic, kind of like how tackle was introduced. I'd love to see that, just something new. It would be great, honestly. I'd love for it. I don't know what they could go. Like, it's really late right now. My brain is toast, but I would love for them to introduce another mechanic that could at least provide some flavor to PvP. Because right now it just feels like you said, either a guessing game or like a chess match, super like linear, one-dimensional in terms of what you can do. It's like, okay, you're either going to tackle or you're going to sit back there and do perfect vanish. At the higher RP games, it's the same thing. People will immediately go backwards. No one ever bothers to tackle, and everyone is just drifting to the side in order to get the first PV. And whoever gets it first, usually all I face is fusion teams. So a high-ranked fusion team that just banks on perfect vanish, you kind of lost already, because the momentum's on their side, and 2 mistakes will cost you a unit because of a rising rush, and it's already downhill from there. Once you lost the unit, getting priority is already impossible, because think about it. You initiate a blast card, they vanish and swap out. You do it again, they vanish, swap out. Like, at some point, they just got more vanishes than you. That's just how all matches go. You lose someone early, it's going to be hard to come back. So my hope is that they do something to at least make it so that it's not so one-sided on that first priority or that first rising rush. Because right now, it just feels like a race to the first rising rush. That's it. Every match, first rising rush is a deciding factor. When one thing's for sure, if they get their rising rush on you and they guess yours, you probably lost. 99% of the time, you've already lost.
Yeah, the only time you win in that situation is where they're just making mistakes left and right.
Unless they just drop the ball, either somebody threw a shoe at them and knocked them out or something, or all their fingers broke, you lost. There's no way. You're not coming back from that. So I don't know. My hope is they do something so that it's not so decided on one little rising rush.
I mostly agree with that. Like,
yeah, that's part of the reason why.
Ever since the beginning, I've understood, like, and there's a competitive side to this game and a competitive community for it, but the game itself, the fundamental design of this game, has so many non-competitive aspects to it. And I really ultimately would like for them to start to try and rein some of that in and make it as competitive as possible for a gacha game. Like, or at least provide certain modes where competition is the true focus and not just about the dollar spent or the raw amount of time you can sit there and play the game.
Yeah. I don't know. It's part of the reason why I like stringing in tackles, because if your opponent has more swaps in and out and stuff and you only got one, training the clock was at least a fact that it helped you, because let's say it cost you advantage to get priority. extending your combo, drain the clock so you can bring the other guy in, and you could have a chance if your opponent messed up, stuff like that. But that's all gone now. So now it really just feels like, I don't know, every mistake is far more costly. It was just not the best change, I don't feel.
All right. Any other remarks then on the tackle thing? I mean, everyone in the chat's going, I think, the same thing, like F perfect vanishes
Toxic.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone shares the same sentiment.
Yeah.
It's
I think most
it
people
is a
agree.
little difficult. I don't know, because they want to. I can see. I can see the difficulty from the developer's standpoint, because there's two things. They want to still make this easy to play while still make the game's combat have depth. And those are two very difficult things to achieve at the same time. It's like wanting to go left and right at the same time. You can't
Yeah,
make
they're
something
diametrically
completely
opposed.
easy while still
Yeah.
making it have depth. It's impossible. So they're trying to find a nice middle ground, but that's hard.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Anything else you guys want to cover before we head off?
That's
Super-
pretty much it. Unfortunately, at least for Legends, this week was just kind of hype and theory and conjecture because we don't have too much information. But by next week, we should have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, Tuesday
I
will be
cannot
that.
wait.
So
I cannot wait for the 26th. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for that. But one little thing I want to part with, I don't want new units to be the highlight of the anniversary. I want changes to improve the game to be the highlight of the anniversary. I don't want us to leave the anniversary saying, yeah, those new units, yeah, they kick butt. I can kill somebody in 2 cards. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be, oh my God, the game has so many new events, quality of life changes that make me super happy. Matchmaking is much improved. It's really aggressive. I have less laggy matches. That's what I want. I don't care about new units. I care about the game improving. You could have the best units in the world. It could be the most hype units with the most sparkly, twinkly things in the world. But if I go into a match and it's like 400 million ping and I can't even move with these new characters, it doesn't matter. My experience is still crap. It's just shinier now.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely.
Shine your crap.
Yeah, that's all it is. At the end of the day, they have to improve the game. I don't care about the new units.
All right. Well, some people were asking, and we can talk about this in our personal chats later. But if Tuesday, if we want to do a small kind of reaction stream, all of us together with somebody,
I
we'll
already
definitely
told
think about.
that person on Twitter that I'd be down if
Yeah.
anyone else wants to organize something or join in with something that one of us hosts. I'd be all for that.
All right, yeah, so we can definitely talk about that. So make sure you guys follow us all over on Twitter. Make sure you sub to all of our YouTube pages so you guys can see those, in the moment updates, so we can let you guys know about that stuff. And yeah, we will obviously this podcast and all the other podcasts are in our playlist as well. So make sure you guys check those out if you haven't already. And next week should be pretty hyped for actually both Legends and Dokkan again. So definitely more for Legends, I think, because of their anniversary stuff. But both versions of both games should be able to have some of that stuff. So. All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for this week's podcast. We will see you all in the next one. Again, hit that sub, like button, and comment down below as always. Until next time, everyone, we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.
See ya.